prep stack's getting bigger and bigger.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio. Your host, Brian Smith, along with
Kerry Smith.
Giving you all the late breaking news of the week, the breaking news on Friday that nobody reports, the news on Saturday and Sunday, getting you set up for a busy, bustling week at work so that when you're talking to your friends, hanging out at the water cooler, you got that one liberal in the shop that you just don't know what to say to him? Well, listen to us. We'll tell you what to tell him.
There you go.
Make his mind blow up.
I can definitely get on board with that.
Spewing fact and truth. Because, you know, fact to a toe tag liberal is like kryptonite to Superman.
Now, what does that mean, toe tag liberal?
Toe tag liberal. If you didn't know, when you're dead and you're in the morgue and they put you on the slab or in the drawer where they shut the, you know, if you ever watch CSI.
Oh, yeah.
What they do is they put a tag with your name and your information and they tie it to your big toe.
That way they don't have to pull you all the way out to see who it is.
Right.
They just crack it a little bit. What's this toe tag say?
Yeah, and I don't want to get too gross about it, but wow, could you imagine? I couldn't. We have a close girlfriend, my wife's girlfriend, very close friend of ours. She went to school to become an embalmer.
Ooh,
and no problems whatsoever. Cool as ice she was.
You gotta be. You gotta be.
She said none of it bothered her. So a toe tag is that tag on your toe when you're dead. Toe tag liberal is one of those guys at the shop that regardless of anything anybody says will take it to the grave.
You think he's listening tonight?
I think so.
Or he might be listening to the podcast, which you can get anytime, any day.
You could also listen to us at iheart.smithradio.com. They'll take you directly to our iHeart channel.
And usually, doesn't it play the most recent podcast first?
Correct. And if you keep it on, it'll play and play.
Because we have over, like, what, a year and a half?
A year and 6 months.
A year and 6 months. Would that be an anniversary?
That would be our...
If I'm a woman, probably. In 8th grade.
Right.
It's our 1 month anniversary. Wait, do you not know what anniversary means?
Hey, what is the deal with our first when somebody does like this every year they'll have a party.
Okay.
So our annual get together.
Uh-huh.
Can you honestly say that this is our first annual party? If it's the first party and it hasn't happened in a year?
Absolutely.
You're allowed to say that.
If you've never had it before, you have to plan on making it every year. So if you know that the party you're about to throw is going to happen in a year from now, you're allowed to call it the first annual.
Well, you don't know. Life
no, you have
to
plan it. No. It's not about whether...
What about Top Gun? We were talking about that. There's supposed to be a sequel.
Yeah, but they weren't going to do it annually.
No. No, but they lead you on to believe that there's a sequel and there's not a sequel.
Don't they all?
You're playing me to be an annual thing, and I show up next year and they're like, nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
Well, there's some movies that should not ever have sequels. And when they do, you're just like, really?
Right.
They're just trying to just rake you over the coals and fleece as much money. It's like a vacuum cleaner sucking out all the money from everybody's pockets.
A Kirby at that.
Oh,
so a toe tag liberal will take liberalism, progressivism, socialism, communism, all that evil stuff to the grave.
Yeah,
You'll never be able to turn them ever, ever, ever. And a word of advice, folks. Same thing they tell you in network marketing or MLM or pyramid schemes. Don't go after the people that don't want to listen to you.
Ah. Okay.
So as it is in our world, our Tea Party world, our conservatism world, our push for personal freedom and personal responsibility, don't go throwing up on the people that are those toe tag liberals.
For those of you who have ever seen me trolling on YouTube comment sections, that flies in the face of what Brian just said, because I have a modified philosophy. Here's my philosophy.
You're a master, though. You're a master.
But here's my philosophy. So I see a toe tag liberal spewing his toe tag liberal propaganda.
Right.
And so I will systematically obliterate it using logic, fact, and common sense.
Ooh,
right?
That's tough.
And now, as Brian says, you're wasting your time because he's not listening. But here's my philosophy. Lots of people are looking at these comment sections. There are people who are listening. The guy that I'm blowing up and destroying with my debate style and trolling and facts and logic and all that kind of stuff, that's not my target audience, because I know he's gone. He's done. He is terminally ill with the communism bug.
Correct.
And as far as I'm concerned, keep trying to get the last word, because I will obliterate every single response.
Oh, tell him
Keep
about
trying.
tell him about the situation where on YouTube you were talking with these communists out of Germany, or the Nazis out of Germany.
These guys have over 1 million followers.
It makes me want to throw up my mouth. Oh my goodness!
I can't even pronounce the name of this channel, so I'm sorry. But what they do is they're animators, and you can actually hire them. And what they'll do is they'll make an informative, instructional, or educational video using animation. And it's extremely effective. You see, like Crash Course, if you've ever seen that channel, it's mostly animation with a little bit of the monologue with, the guy's real life face. And he's, John Green, I think is his name on Crash Course. And but anyway, there's a lot of, it's becoming more popular to use animation to have these educational videos. Well, this company I like their style as far as their art goes and stuff like that, and it's definitely effective, but they are communist propagandists, and they do it very subtly. They'll use scientific educational videos, and they'll very subtly slip in the propaganda to mislead young people who would want to try to learn about whatever subject they're teaching about, to mislead you and steer you down that. It could be atheistic, or it could be, the People's Workers Paradise type stuff. But they're very subtle, though. They wouldn't actually use that language.
I love that, though. People's Workers Paradise.
With the utopianism, or it could be global warming, or it could be an evolution video that tries to throw all kinds of science at you, which is cool, but it's done in a way to try to convince you that religion is all false and that there's no God and there's no creator or anything like that, and that the truth is that we live in a no-God atheistic world. But they don't say any of that. They just imply it very subtly in these videos. So anyway, I was obliterating one of their videos. And, of course, they had a lot of their minions in the comments section that were trying to defend them. And every single time they tried to defend the video, they throw in a bunch of fallacies that I was able to systematically destroy in this debate on the comments section. Well, all of a sudden, I was no longer able to reply to any comments, only on that video. And with a little research, I found out that happens when the channel owner, the owner of the channel, blocks you.
Well, he came to Smith Radio.
Well, hold on a second. I didn't get to that yet.
Okay.
So I was like, well, now I can't reply to any single post. Nobody else got blocked, just me. And I was just killing everybody because it was a bad video. And, I actually jumped ahead a little bit.
Okay.
Before they blocked me, they came out with a post. The actual channel posted a comment in their comment section that said, we are going to come out with a new version of this video to make it better because there's a couple problems in it that we want to address and make better in a new video, and we're going to delete this soon.
Right. Oh.
We're going to delete this video and replace it with the same subject, just a better video. So of course I was like, oh, I wonder why that. It couldn't be because for the past month I've systematically debunked. I've debunked this video, completely effectively debunked it in the comments section. And so one of two things is going to happen. Either A, they're going to come out with a video that's a little harder for somebody like me to debunk, or B, they want to come out with a new video that has a fresh comment section so my debunking can't be in there because they blocked me.
Nice.
So I addressed this right before they finally blocked me. And so I was like, well, how can I get at these people? So I go to their Facebook page. Because I'm blocked on YouTube from them. So I go to their Facebook page and I give them one last rant on their page, pretty much exposing them for the communists that they are, and the anti-freedom of speech. You know, I obliterated them.
Nice.
And the thing is you can't be for science if you're not going to allow intelligent discourse. And believe me, I do not resort to ad hominem attacks or juvenile attacks.
Tell them what ad hominem attacks are.
It's name calling.
Right.
Anytime somebody starts name calling, calls you an idiot or whatever.
When you're talking to somebody at work and you know they're the lib or they're on the crazy, or maybe you don't even know who they are, but then all of a sudden their rebuttal to whatever you're saying is name calling.
Yeah, like for instance,
an attack.
If you're and I don't consider myself a truther by any sense of the word, but responding to somebody in a debate about, let's say that they bring up questions about 9/11, and your response to them is, oh, you're just a truther, and then that's it. That's the only way you address it. That's actually kind of a very subtle and ad hominem attack, because you're not addressing anything. You're actually calling them a name. So that's ad hominem. But when you call somebody an idiot or something like that, that's ad hominem. But anyway, so if I know I can win the debate, I'm not going to resort to ad hominem because I don't need to. Right. So anyway, this is what I said on their Facebook page. They responded to us directly, which I was really surprised. I mean, these guys have over 1 million subscribers on their YouTube channel.
That's insane. That's amazing.
And part of my critique on their Facebook page was that they're going to delete one of their videos because they were so wrong, and the reason they realized they were wrong is because I debunked the video. So their response was, you guys did no such thing, and we are not deleting any videos. So I then went to their Facebook page. I screenshot their post saying that they're going to delete this video. And posted it as a response, and I said, dude, you guys, just stop.
It's too much.
Stop.
It's too much.
This is too easy. I mean, it's like they lobbed an underhand meatball at me to try to knock out of the park, and that's pretty much what it was. And that's just funny. So anyway, that was my long-winded explanation that actually flies in the face of what Brian just said. Because
if you've got hold on, if you've got you're a rare breed.
Well, the point,
and you're very good at what you do.
The point you were making is don't talk to people who are not going to listen, who are not they're already too far gone. My thing is you can do that if you're going to win the debate against one of those.
Be prepared. Listen to Smith Radio.
Yeah, right. And, among others, just get really educated so that you're on the side of righteousness. And then once you defeat a toe tag liberal in the debate, don't worry that they didn't convert, because everybody that listened or viewed your obliteration of their side is going to possibly be a convert.
Right.
Or feel more confident in their position, which is the side of righteousness.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
No, I'm definitely with you. I'm just saying, prepare yourself, understand what you're getting into, and know what you're talking about.
So what happened this week?
Hillary.
Oh, Benghazi hearings.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
and let me tell you, and the reason why I bring up Benghazi so frequently on this show is because I'm extremely passionate about the truth, about the fact, and about that somebody has to pay for this.
Right. And I think there's an issue, especially now that Clinton, Kevin McCarthy came out and said, Well, you guys thought that Hillary was unbeatable, but then we put together this Benghazi committee, and now look.
And Kevin McCarthy was running for Speaker of the House for the Republicans.
No, for Boehner.
Or for Boehner, sorry.
He was on the Rhino ticket.
I slipped.
He was on the Rhino ticket.
I slipped on the...
banana peel, I don't know.
No, the
awesome sauce.
I slipped on the awesome sauce.
Oh, wow. You need to... Do you not have that queued
awesome
up?
Sauce. This hour brought to you by...
Awesome it was the Discover. Discover card.
Was it Discover card?
Yeah, I thought it was like some bank, but it was.
I thought it was Geico.
Yeah, I sent it to you guys, I think, in a message. So there's this commercial where the twin calls up about the Discover card, and she.
Well, yeah, here it is.
Oh, you're gonna play it for us?
Yeah.
Discover card? Hey, so I'm looking at my bill and my FICO credit score is on here. Yeah, you've got our Discover It card, so you get your FICO score on your monthly statements now for free. That's nice of you. It's a great way to stay on top of your credit and make sure things look the way they should. Awesome sauce. My twin sister always says that. Wait, Lisa? Julie? You sound really different on the phone. Do I sound pleasant? For once in your life, you sound very pleasant.
We treat you like you'd treat.
Awesome sauce.
So there were twins. One twin was calling in about a credit card, and the other twin was working at the credit. But it's probably the same person.
Cubicle. Yeah, that's the thing. You never see them together. So.
Just like Mick Jagger, and then
Steven Tyler.
I was going to call and Aerosmith.
Well, when
band,
somebody says that the singer of Aerosmith, that guy, Mick Jagger, that's when you know you've flown off the rails.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I've never seen them both together, so just FYI.
And if you have seen them together, you need to call in right away.
Because one of them will say, awesome sauce!
Breaking news in the Hillary Benghazi hearing, Brian Williams... Brian, I cannot tell a lie, Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Provides analysis on credibility of Benghazi.
No, he didn't. You've got to be lying. There's got to be an Onion article. It has to be.
No. It's by the Gateway. It's by the Gateway Pundit.
Okay,
by Jim Hoff.
Do you want to give a really quick crash course on Brian Williams?
He was an
anchor
at NBC.
Anchor.
Oh, he's
the guy.
The guy follow up Walter Cronkite type of guy.
Right. He's the Walter Cronkite of
America tunes in, and
is it NBC or is it CBS? ABC?
CBS. America tunes in to listen to Brian Williams on MSNBC.
MSNBC. Which, why would you not hire him if you were MSNBC?
PMSNBC.
If you're the CEO or the guy who's in charge of finding an anchor for MSNBC, I would think that his resume would be the best.
Except for the parts he left out of his resume.
Well, we're talking about MSNBC.
Oh, because that's how MSNBC rolls.
He probably told them that he's
there's a handful of, there's a handful of things that I can't help myself.
I got it. What sets you apart from the rest of these candidates for anchor?
Oh, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you some stories.
Look, I'm just going to be honest. For once in my life, I am a sociopath. And every word out of my mouth is completely made up.
But I'll tell you what, I own it so well.
You got to own it.
Oh, I own it like it's nobody's business. I own it like Will Ferrell owns his own jokes.
Yeah, he was. So well, okay, first of all, it's not like he told one lie. It turns out almost everything he's ever said is not true.
And it just unraveled and unraveled.
But it started.
And unraveled.
Yeah, it was like an onion with no end. It was a black hole onion. There's no bottom. It just keeps going.
You just keep unraveling, Well, it started with the snipper fire. He was under.
No, he was in a helicopter.
Yeah, under fire.
You're thinking of
Hillary
Clinton. Yeah, Clinton said she was under snipper fire.
You know the new term for her?
No.
Killery.
No, I saw Hitlery.
I saw Hitlery.
That's an old one now.
I thought of cutlery, but she didn't cut anybody up that we know of. But she did kill people, so I'm partial to the killery part.
She's probably killed people that we don't even know about that she's killed.
Oh, yeah.
Flat out.
Oh, yeah.
And if she becomes president and we continue to stay on the air,
we'll be on the list.
I would be very concerned about my health and safety.
We'll be on the short
So
list.
anyway, yeah, we're on the short list. So anyway, Brian Williams said that he was in Afghanistan or somewhere in the Middle East in a military helicopter that got shot down or something like that. They were
everybody survived, but we were shot down out of the sky.
Right.
In a death spiral.
He's campaigning for a Purple Heart.
Right. I should get a Purple Heart just like everybody on the aircraft
except for all those people in Benghazi.
Right.
They don't get a Purple Heart. No, there's Fort Hood.
They don't deserve it.
Survivors and the ones that didn't survive.
Right.
Workplace violence, no Purple Heart.
Right. You know how Muslims are. They get a little out of hand sometimes.
Muslim? What? What? Nobody says Muslim.
Awesome sauce. I just slipped on it.
Wow, you slipped on it again. Wow. Okay, so Brian Williams is giving a speech on the credibility of the Benghazi. No, that cannot be real.
Yeah.
Cannot be real.
No, absolutely it is. It is. And
that's like an Onion article.
Right, and I stopped with that. I didn't want anything more to do with that. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, right.
Right, so it's done. However, I'd like to open up this whole thing.
We're just now in the opening.
With Hillary Clinton, which obviously there were a lot of openings. Trey Gowdy opened, and then Cummings.
Oh gosh,
racist. He's a black racist, hateful, riot inspiring. Just a very evil, despicable man.
I thought the same as you about how despicable he was. And I just thought maybe he's smart, but probably not. But I'm going to be honest with you. He did a very effective job in the Benghazi hearing.
Yeah.
Because, and I wouldn't have really recognized what he was really doing because I wasn't able to listen to it from beginning to end. But Rush Limbaugh pointed out that Cummings was clearly realizing how much trouble Hillary was in at that moment
and had to
dove in head first. You know what he did? He jumped on the grenade.
I was going to say jumped in front of the bullet, but no, you're right. There was an RPG. It was laying on the ground, about ready to explode.
Ticking.
It was going. Somebody shot it, and it went ding, 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 and it stopped right in front of her desk. And you could hear the tick.
It was ClockMed's clock.
Yes, Clock Boy. And so he dove his entire giant bulbous body on top of it, engulfed it, took the bomb. He took it.
Yeah, he definitely was a very effective blocker.
So he was, first and foremost, he was up in front, blowing up, spewing lies and garbage and all this witch hunt stuff. We got some stuff from Trey Gowdy and from some other people, but this kind of sets it up for you folks if you don't know much about what's going on. Representative Susan Brooks from Indiana confronted Hillary with the emails about the emails, and that's the reason why I play this is because it's about
the emails.
Right. So here's her speaking to Hillary, and Carrie has the pleasure of watching Hillary's face.
Oh, good.
And I want you to give the audience your personal opinion on her reaction.
For being here today, and drawing on what you just said, that very few, but no requests for Benghazi came to your attention, I'd like to show you something.
She's putting stacks of paper on the table.
Stacks of paper, real thick stacks of paper.
One giant stack and one tiny little stack.
Okay.
This pile represents the emails that you sent or received about Libya in 2011.
That's the
from
big
February
pile.
through December of 2011.
She has her hand on top of the big pile.
This pile
now she has her
represents the emails you sent or received from early 2012 until the day of the attack. There are 795 emails in this pile. We've counted them.
Okay, that's 795 emails she received the year before, 2011. The whole year, 2011.
On Benghazi.
Correct.
On right.
Correct.
Okay.
On Libya, Benghazi, the whole situation. 729 emails. That's the big stack.
Uh-huh.
Now, 2012, from January till September.
Until the actual.
Which is 9 months.
Yeah.
So that's the majority of the year.
Right.
75% of the year.
And the time when the Libya situation would have been blowing up.
Right. Okay. And here's what she puts her hand on the small stack now.
There are 67 emails in this pile in 2012.
I received more than 67 emails today.
Okay, that's almost over. Hold on.
I'm troubled by what I see here. And so my questions relate to these piles. In this pile in 2011, I see daily updates, sometimes hourly updates.
Of course.
From your staff about Benghazi and Chris Stevens. When I look at this pile, in 2012, I only see a handful of emails to you from your senior staff about Benghazi, and I have several questions for you about this disparity, because we know from talking to your senior advisors that they knew, and many of them are here today, seated behind you, they knew to send you important information, issues that were of importance to you, and I can only conclude by your own records that there was a lack of interest in Libya in 2012.
Boom!
That's circumstantial, argumentative. That's argumentative.
A little bit.
She didn't have, I'm looking at her facial reaction. It was pretty much stone faced from beginning to end. I mean, she didn't really, and if she's going to do a good job, I mean, she can't really react to that.
I mean, she just, but the look on her face is just of disdain. Like she's like, I got to go through this again.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't act like she was going to laugh about it. That's for sure.
Oh, did you hear about that one? We'll get to that.
Oh boy.
No, so so they're going over all the emails she received or didn't receive, correspondence who she corresponded with and who she didn't correspond with, and there's a person of interest by the name of Sid Blumenthal.
Oh, I heard about him long ago. And it was very fascinating, some of the stuff that I learned about him. Very fascinating. I mean, this guy, if you really want to dig down below the surface with regards to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons in general, especially her relationship with Barack Obama and how she was running against him, and then after she lost, she then became a part of his cabinet and all that kind of stuff. If you really want to pull back the curtain to find out what's really going on with Hillary and her relationship with Obama and the government in general, her government career, you need to learn everything you can about Sid Vicious Blumenthal.
Yes, he was a reporter of sorts that she was talking with and receiving emails from. Trey Gowdy, in the very beginning, blows up during the interview on her about Sid Blumenthal and about how Sid Blumenthal had Hillary's personal email address, but apparently Ambassador Christopher Stevens did not.
Yeah, that's really weird. Do you have the soundbite of him?
I have the soundbite of Trey Gowdy talking to her. This
was a revelation, and literally nobody knew that Trey Gowdy was going to try to hit her from this angle, and you can clearly see that Hillary did not expect this angle.
She was completely upset. The White House even said to her, because she tried to hire Sid.
Oh, of course.
To work. And the administration, the White House said, goo-goo, can't do that.
Well, that was the condition. That was like one of the main conditions that she could be a cabinet member, was that you're not allowed to bring Sid Vicious on
board
and be hired. He can't be a part of this in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And that's the only way. That's the condition we're going to set for you to be a cabinet member.
Okay, so she becomes a cabinet member, and she didn't put him on the White House payroll. He didn't have a White House title. However, Trey Gowdy digs deeper.
Oh, yeah.
This is an email from Blumenthal to you about the President's Secretary of Defense. And here's another Blumenthal email to you about President's National Security Advisor. Frankly, Tom Donilon's babbling rhetoric about narratives on the phone briefing of reporters on March the 10th has inspired derision among serious foreign policy analysts, both here and abroad. And here's another one from what you say is your old friend Sidney Blumenthal. This is from him. I would say Obama, and by the way, he left the president part out. I would say Obama appears to be intent on seizing defeat from the jaws of victory. He and his political cronies in the White House in Chicago are, to say the least, unenthusiastic about regime change in Libya. Obama's lukewarm and self-contradicting statements have produced what is, at least for the moment, operational paralysis. I think that may give us a better understanding of why the White House may have told you you cannot hire him. Blumenthal could not get hired by our government, didn't pass any background check at all, had no role with our government, had never been to Libya, had no expertise in Libya, was critical of the president and others that you worked with, shared polling data with you on the intervention in Libya, gave you political advice on how to take credit for Libya, all the while working for the Clinton Foundation and some pseudo-news entities. And Madam Secretary, he had unfettered access to you. And he used that access, at least on one occasion, to ask you to intervene on behalf of a business venture. Do you recall that?
You know, Mr. Chairman, if you don't have any friends who say unkind things privately, I congratulate you. But from my perspective,
I'd like to think I'd correct them.
I don't know what this line of questioning does to help us get to the bottom of the deaths for Americans.
I'll be happy to
help us.
I'll be happy to help you understand that, Madam Secretary.
Talk about, I'm like waiting for an answer to the question, and she might as well have said, I don't care what you just said, because I'm going to change the subject and distract everybody from what you just said by making it sound like you have a concern that a buddy of mine is criticizing people that he shouldn't be criticizing.
Right. She received hundreds of thousands of emails from Sid Blumenthal. Would forward those emails to other people, but have his name removed. So they didn't know that email was originated from Sid Blumenthal. And one email, she told Huma to redact Sid's names in these emails. When you re-forward these emails, don't let his name out in these things. She knew he was toxic to the rest of the world or the rest of the administration.
Well, she would get in trouble because she was told explicitly, you cannot hire Sid Blumenthal.
So Sid was actually running the Secretary of Defense. He was Secretary of Defense.
Well, if you consider that Hillary was just the face of the Secretary of Defense, and that he was the one running the shots, then yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So in the longer part of that back and forth with Hillary, he started to expose how not only were these emails coming from Sid Blumenthal, but that she didn't know if it was really Sid that was sending her the emails.
Oh, because of, I mean, I have my theory, but you're saying what? They
were going back and forth. She said, you don't even know where they came. You don't even know if they originated with Sid. They could have been somebody else, and he started throwing out other things, and she slipped the lip. She made the comment.
I didn't even think about this.
She said, well, they were coming from Sid. Well, I mean, they could have been in it. This stuff doesn't matter.
So when you have an unsecure server, that makes sense. I didn't even think of that angle.
A lot of these emails that may have been looking like they were coming from Sid, who were they coming from?
They could have been coming from the Kremlin.
You know they were coming from somewhere. And she may even be going through Sid on purpose.
Well, I know that she would want to go through Sid Blumenthal. However, if he's such a trusted confidant, and here she has an unsecure server that could have been hacked by her enemies, why would you not want to use Sid Blumenthal's name if you're the enemy of the United States to try to get Hillary to do the wrong things? In fact, they could be okay. I know what you're thinking. You have a really close friend. In Hillary's case, this is probably her very best friend.
Okay, now hold on.
Probably her mistress.
And he said, Trey Gowdy said, "Do you understand the definition of unsolicited?"
He asked that question?
Yes.
That's
and she
such an,
well, did you solicit his help or did he solicit your help?
Okay.
Or vice versa. Where did it come from?
Uh-huh.
And she gave one of those cheeseball answers of unsolicited. However, he pulled out email saying that you initiated the solicitation for his help.
Which is problematic for a number of reasons.
Yes.
So, okay, let's everybody put your imagination hats on.
Take the tinfoil. Peel.
Not the tinfoil. Just imagine
peel that off.
All right, everybody, close your eyes and think of this. Think of your best friend in the world. If somebody were going to impersonate them, it wouldn't take very long for you to figure out. I don't think this might not be.
If somebody started sending me emails with your name on it that says Kerry Smith,
it might not take very long.
I would very quickly be able to pick.
Okay.
What?
All right. So that takes away from
bro.
the idea that the Kremlin is writing emails under Sid Vicious's name.
However, and she didn't know.
But she didn't know. This is why I told you to put your thinking cap on.
Okay.
Let's say that somebody wanted to trick Brian.
Okay.
And make it sound like emails were coming from me, but they wanted to put their own agenda on it.
Oh, like a spin.
How could they trick Brian into thinking it was really coming from me when Brian knows me so well? He knows my language. He knows the types of things I would say, the sentence structure, whatever. Guess how they could do it?
No.
They could pull it off because they would only send emails that they intercepted from me. They could read it, use my language, and just twist a couple of words. Maybe instead of should, they put an N''T on the end.
Because they've seen, or maybe no apostrophe because they see the way you write. And you don't use apostrophes, or vice versa.
That's right, no apostrophes.
Or like me, they would use run-on sentences.
Yeah, run-on sentences.
With no periods whatsoever, and fill a whole page.
And slip in a couple of awesome sauce references. I'm telling you. But they would be able to do it because they wouldn't just randomly send Sid Vicious emails saying, hey, Hillary, do this.
Right, and they would interject, hell yeah, and then like 9 apostrophes right after it. Because that's how I write.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay. So imagine you're the Kremlin. You're not going to just randomly send Sid Vicious emails. You're going to wait till he sends an email. You're intercepting it. She's not even receiving it. You're receiving it because you've already hacked her server.
Right.
You intercept Sid's email. You read it. You see what he wants to say. And then you gently modify it so that it's what you want him to say to her.
Right.
Then you forward that on to her, and it'll look like it's coming directly from him. He thinks he sent one message. She receives a completely different message, but with all of his language, his just the odd ticks that he has in his emails. I'm telling you, I should have been a spy.
You should have been.
I should have been.
Wow.
So imagine.
I am imagining, and I think that's probably the best scenario I think I have ever heard. It's probably right on. Now, what about the possibility that, she knew it, and she was cool with it coming from the Kremlin?
That's going a little too far for my tinfoil hat.
Okay, well, I mean, just
enough.
I'm just throwing the idea out there. I mean,
here's the thing about, here's the difference between Obama and Hillary. The difference is, Hillary is a communist, and if you ever doubt that, you got to learn more about Sid Vicious Blumenthal. He's a full-blown, all-the-way red, hammer and sickle communist.
Right.
Whereas Hillary, even though she definitely does a much better job of hiding it.
Right.
Much better job. Okay, so she would love for America to become a communist state. I know it's hard to say and hard to even believe.
No, it's not. No, it's because I've got quotes from her website.
Okay. Interesting.
Details.
You got
into the secret mind.
You went behind the curtain.
Oh, I did. I had to fight my way out of that wet paper bag, though.
Oh, okay. So she wants a communist state, right? But here's the difference. Hillary would want a communist state that still remains enemies with the other communist states, such as Russia.
Well, because you always got to keep the the fight up. There's always got to be a conflict. There's
So
always got to be a
You and
fight.
I may disagree on the motive behind keeping
Correct.
it. Now, here's the difference. Obama wants to be the premier of the United States or the Union of Soviet Socialist America,
Right.
under the overall banner of the entire communist utopia, which includes Russia.
Right. It's
He wants to be the allies of. I'm not Russia. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, Cuba.
I think the globe. I mean, his ideology would be
no borders,
No.
all that stuff. So there is a subtle difference that's actually pretty stark when you stop and think about it. So Obama wants a no borders communist world, whereas Hillary wants a possibly loosely bordered, organized, but she wants America to be its own most powerful communist state.
Right. Did you know she wrote a book?
I'm sure she wrote several.
Hillary,
Okay.
Hillary.
She went on a book tour. Nobody came. They had to hire people to
She
come
went
get,
She went on a tour. I didn't hear about that.
Well,
Is that
nobody else
breaking
did.
news?
Nobody else did either. It was the big joke. It was right before she was running.
It's like 2 years ago. 3 years ago, I was
I thought it was
listening.
when she was running against Obama.
No, because I remember listening to Glenn Beck, and he was talking about
And
it.
nobody was showing up.
It's like 2 years ago, and when Rush even started talking about the numbers of the book. So the book had already been out, and
I think the DNC was buying up copies to make it look like there was some interest.
So
in the
they
book.
fronted Hillary $10-20 million to write this book.
Oh, that's right. That was the big. They lost tens of millions, but
They're still trying to get it back.
No. Rush pointed out that they're taking it as a loss, and they're okay with that because the whole thing is that it's going to further the overall cost. So it's the price of doing communist business.
I want a tax write-off. It's a tax write-off in the end. Taxpayers pay for it. The government somewhere. Somebody absorbs it somehow. Okay. So that, and it, apparently her book had been out for a while, and she sold, I think, like 76 copies.
What?
Like
That's
her
how many
friends and her
people-
girlfriends, and everyone's like, please buy them. I mean, if she was president like Obama, he had the White House, the presidency, buy all those books up.
Before he was president?
Yeah, no, when he was president, he started buying everything. Wait, before he was president, he was trying to buy them all up. But then they showed that the White House actually spent money on his book.
Oh, I could see that. But here's the thing. We're backing way up. We're going back to 2007, 2008.
Right.
When they realized, wow, we could have the first black president, President Obama and all that stuff. What they
gotta clean
realized,
him up.
Yes. When Biden said he was clean and articulate, what they really meant was articulate.
He will be clean and articulate when it's time.
Clean is... So apparently, everything bad about Obama, which makes him completely ineligible in every way, shape, and form for the presidency of the United States, was all written about by Barack Obama himself. He even made audiobooks with his own voice exposing himself.
See, I can't. Still, that blows my mind.
Yeah. So what they did was, they went to the who's the people that make the books, the publisher.
Right.
Went to the publisher and said, first of all, you need to stop the presses completely.
Do not print anymore.
Do not print anymore. Then they went around. This is the DNC, by the way. And super PACs and all the people that support him went around and frantically bought up all copies everywhere, even private copies. Bought them all up. And it was extremely hard to find a copy. Even there were journalists who can dig up better than a journalist. Journalists will dig anything up. There were journalists that were like, I heard about this book.
These journalists are like, you want me to do my work? You want me to do my job?
No, I'm talking about conservative journalists. Hannity couldn't find his book. He could not find. He was like, I know he wrote something.
It's somewhere. And where the copy is, no one will know.
We'll find it somewhere, folks.
Well, Russia's got audio sound clips. He played audio clips from Dreams from My Father.
Right.
So it's out there. But that's funny that you bring up just a little break from the tension. You brought up Obama. We're talking about Hillary. You remember how a while ago I made that It's a whole
soundbite.
yeah. And if you listen to the show, you can hear I clipped together a whole bunch of Obama's
No repeaters.
no repeaters, and I put it together. Well, I was feeling a little artsy fartsy today.
You made something else?
And I added a little bit to that because I used a sound clip from Mad Cow, Rachel Maddow.
Oh, okay.
Who interviewed Hillary right after the testimony. And, did bash. We'll get to that in a minute. But I put a little something together. I just want to, it's 21 seconds long. You tell me what you think.
You?
Oh, the Beastie Boys.
I'm Mike D and I get respect. Your jewelry is what I expect.
Yes!
I like it. Now you're going to have to get that all together.
Did you have to, meld it a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is? I hate to bash Brian here, but he needs a Mac.
No, don't bash me at all. No, I don't take that as a...
Doesn't have a Mac. I have a Mac at home, not here in the studio, but... Yeah.
No, I don't take that as negative. That is certainly positive, constructive criticism. It's exactly what it is. And for those of you out there in Radioland, as soon as we get, higher sponsors, better sponsors than the Discovery Channel, they're trying to Discovery Card.
Wow, we just lost them.
Trying to slip us some awesome sauce.
Wow. I think they gave us 50 cents for that one.
Yeah. So I just, I don't know. I just felt kind of. So we'll get to all that. There's some crazy stuff coming out. And before we get to another sound clip of Hillary, Joe Scarborough, what are your thoughts on him?
Oh, he is completely rhino.
Okay.
He's a total...
He claims to be. Well, he's on MSNBC. He has his show on the morning,
and he used to be an elected official, and he was a Republican.
Okay, so it's Morning Joe, which is Joe Scarborough's show, and
here's what he is. He's obviously a rhino, and if you listen to his entire philosophy, and you have to listen to him a lot to get it all together, but when you do that, you realize that he's really more like a classical Democrat from the 80s, probably, like that kind of Democrat. But he never says I'm a Democrat, I'm a liberal. He doesn't say any of that. He says I'm a Republican.
Right.
And so he gets hired by MSNBC, and he clearly toes the line.
Here's what he said, because I didn't want to do that sound clip of him, but here's exactly what he said. According to Joe Scarborough, it was an apparent victory for Clinton and a bad day for Benghazi hearing that could be seen, at least in terms of theatrics, as a TKO for Hillary Clinton.
What? That's clearly what was told that he must say. It's hard for me to believe that. Okay, let me throw this out there.
TKO.
This is not the first. This is not the first time Joe Scarborough's done this. Whenever he does do this, I know deep down inside, as much of a rhino he is, he's being told he has to say this. And it's not the first time that's happened. He's come out and said something that is so clearly a Democrat talking point. He's given the talking points by his employer, which is MSNBC. And if he has to say it. Right. I mean, he wants to keep his job. And that's the problem with him. He's a huge sellout. He's a huge sellout.
I mean, he's getting paid. He does what he does. He's a Hollywood elite type, if you will. In his mind, he is. He's one of those, showboating. I'm on the morning show with Joe. It's my own show. It's got my name on it. I'm pretty.
Right. And this is not tinfoil hat stuff. This is real. Absolutely fact. But it is a fact that MSNBC is the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party.
Right.
I'm sorry, Democrat Party. I'm always blasting Hannity for saying Democratic. They're not Democratic, but even if you want to make the argument that they are about democracy, calling them Democratic implies that the other side, being the Republican Party or any other party, is not Democratic.
No.
When they are.
Right.
The Republican Party is clearly Democratic. So calling, it's completely a misleading misnomer, all of the above, to call the Democrats Democratic. But anyway, no, MSNBC is the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, and if you are hired by them, you are in dereliction of duty. Of course. If you don't do the propaganda. What are you doing there? If you're not doing the propaganda for the Democrat Party at MSNBC, you have to know you're getting fired.
Right.
Because you're going against your job description.
Right.
And the mission statement of the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party.
Correct.
So I can't fault Morning Joe or Joe Scarborough very much, because you have to put food on the table. I mean, his children could starve if he doesn't.
True, but
toe the line.
Personally, I'd find another line of work. I'd go work for.
So
I'd try and get on at Fox.
What Brian's referring to is called principles.
Yeah,
personal principles and convictions. And if it goes, it's like if you get elected to office to conduct and sign marriage licenses, and the definition of marriage is the lifelong monogamous union of a man and woman, and then suddenly a bunch of commies come along and change the definition of marriage
to garage.
All of a sudden, your job description changes, and you can be a conscientious objector, in my opinion.
Do you know who bashed Kim Davis in Kentucky? You know who bashed her?
Don't tell me Mitch McConnell, because I already knew that.
Car Ferrari.
Oh, Car Ferrari. Carly Fiorina
bashed Kim Davis for not doing her job.
Oh, well, she's done in my book.
She's down to...
She was doing her job.
I think she's below 6%.
She's been elected. Yeah. She's an elected official, which means she's doing a job that the people hired her to do.
If we were in the military to this day, and the sergeant told me to shoot another military member, and I said, no, I won't do it. I mean, I'm upholding my principles and the principles of the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
It'd be an unlawful order.
Right. And in reality, I don't care what edge, what shade that you fall on, but I believe that Kim Davis is upholding the oath that she took for her position.
Yes, certainly. And you know, changing, there's consequences for bad decisions, and when you make a bad decision such as changing, here's the thing, with contracts are all about
yes.
Yeah, contracts are all about, it's a piece of paper with ink on it. So what exactly are we talking about here? We're talking about the words that are formed from the ink and what their meanings are. That's the only thing a contract is. If you don't recognize what the meanings of the words are on the paper, then what you have is kindling.
Yes, you have kindling with fire starter, especially if the ink is toxic.
Oh, flammable.
Flammable,
yeah.
Right? Flammable toxic ink. Then you've got fire starter. You're good to go.
Right, and that's all your contract is. So what you have to realize, especially in America, because of the way our society is constructed, that words absolutely have meaning, and they're so important that if you were to change a critical word such as marriage, suddenly every contract that uses the word marriage is now a different contract. And if you have two people who are in a contract together, they had an understanding, an agreement on certain ideas that are captured on the paper.
Right, like I can't go back 10 years and say, 10 years ago when I signed that contract with my wife under the word marriage, now that word is changed. Yeah, well, then I was tricked.
What if they changed the word marriage from being a union of two people, to a man and woman, whatever, to enemies?
Enemies of each other.
All of a sudden we signed a contract saying that we're sworn enemies?
Or not only that, make it even worse. Say it's an Islamic thing. Say now that the word marriage means that the woman has to become the slave of the man.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now what?
Interesting.
Are you listening? For all of those of you who are trumpeting women's rights
and changes of definitions of words,
and join us in stopping women's suffrage. They've suffered too long and too hard.
Do you have that Man Show?
I do not. I do not.
Jimmy Kimmel and what's the other guy's name from Man Show? They did a on the street interview of women at college campuses and asked them if they were for the end of women's suffrage, and all of them were like, "Yes."
What? I didn't know we were still suffering. Let me sign the anti-suffrage.
Don't want any more suffrage.
Stop the suffrage. So this just handed to me from the producer. Apparently, someone had mentioned something to Hillary about referring to her book and what she wrote in her book about Benghazi.
Ooh,
so then later on, it came up, well, I guess Hillary took that opportunity.
Did you just call her Killary?
Oh, no, I said Hillary.
Oh, I thought you said Killary.
No, Hillary.
Okay.
Well, that's because it's her name. Right?
Killary with a K.
Get a K.
Okay.
So Hillary went ahead and later on, she plugged her book.
Uh-oh.
During the Benghazi hearing.
Okay.
She plugs her new book. Clinton said that she had an entire chapter in her book, Hard Choices, about...
Don't tell me she said the name of the
quote, Hard Choices.
Oh, by the way, did she pull it out and put it on the desk so that she can...
She pulled out a tripod and then pulled the book out.
Oh, an easel?
An easel.
She pulled out an easel.
Set it next to her. Set it right next to her.
Did she open it to the page and...
She opened it and she flipped through. She said, hold on. Hard Choices is such a great read. Oh,
let me get to the page.
I remember this chapter. You guys are going to love this chapter when you get to it. I know it's page 96, but you're going to love page 93, 95.
And it's available on softback. What do they call it? It's hardback. Softcover.
Hardback.
Okay.
Softback and
oh, you're allowed to say that on the radio.
Bareback?
It's available in bareback.
Wow.
Mommy, what's bareback? When you ride a horse without a saddle.
This is correct.
That's bareback. Or if you buy a copy of her book.
Oh,
boy.
And you're completely assaulted by page 1.
With no
end in sight.
Okay.
So she says, hard choices about the administration's failed response to the Benghazi attack. After Congresswoman asked her why she blamed Benghazi on the spontaneous reaction to a YouTube video called, quote, innocence of Muslims instead of terrorism, Clinton's book plug was followed by an attempt to explain her reliance on the video.
Oh, should we explain this to those in Westwood?
For those of you in Westwood, Hillary and the administration had to find a reason to blame. See, and that's what liberals do. It's something that makes you a Republican, a conservative. When I can see you and you say, oh, I'm a Democrat, and we start to talk after a while, I can tell right away if you are or if you really aren't. You just are confused by one simple thing. Personal responsibility. If you take personal responsibility for you, your actions, and people around you, you're not a Democrat.
Well, you just lost everybody in Westwood.
So for those of you in Westwood, go to beep and beep beep and do the beep.
Why don't we have a beep button?
I do.
We need to have one of those.
I do. It's just not cute.
You gotta cue up the beep.
Stop it. Won't stop. Okay.
Oh my goodness. So you have to cue it up.
But I had to put it in the queue.
Oh,
well, I've got it listed right here.
We should have a giant red easy button from Staples.
It doesn't say easy. It just says bleep.
Right. Instead of easy, it says beep or bleep, whatever. Should be in front of both of us.
Oh, we can bleep each other.
Well, bleep ourselves. Self-bleeping.
No, I'll take a bleep.
See how selfless we are. Anyway.
Whew. So, right. So it's a personal responsibility. So they're looking for to blame this on something. So they found a California kid, some dude who made a video on YouTube that nobody had watched.
He can't be. Is he still in prison?
But nobody knows who he is.
He's in a gulag.
It's like in China. It's like in China where that guy stood in front of all the tanks.
Yeah, they're like, oh, no, he's still alive.
Tiananmen Square?
Well, I don't remember.
So, okay. And he stood in front of like a row of giant tanks.
These are like bigger than M1 Abrams tanks.
Right.
Huge tanks.
And he stood in front of them like a statue.
Well, then they tried to turn to go around him, and he would sidestep.
Sidestepped faster than they could get around him.
And then they tried to go the other way, and he sidestepped the other way.
I don't know how it ever ended because I don't know. I never saw the video. However,
I saw the video. I just you don't see
the ending,
right?
So China says, "Don't worry, he's fine. He's okay."
Well, can we see him? Maybe one day. You'll see him.
He's busy.
He's fine.
He's busy doing some work for us.
He's with his family.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with.
We'll give him a call, and as soon as we get a hold of him, we'll call you.
We'll call you.
We'll let you know. No, really, I want to know. Hey, that don't make no never mind.
So that is the stats. We have a political prisoner in the United States who's in prison for violating
the First Amendment.
The First Amendment somehow.
Freedom of speech. He made a video exposing.
How do you violate? The only person that violated the First Amendment were the people that sent him to prison in the first place.
Yeah, and why didn't the actors in that video go to prison too? They all should have been imprisoned.
You mean those weren't really Muslims?
No. They were impersonators. They're really Christians.
I thought he went on location in the Middle East.
Maybe. I never saw. You were the only one that saw the video. I never saw it.
It's been deleted from the universe.
If you ever thought, and if anybody ever tells you, oh, once it hit the internet, it's there forever.
Then try to find that video.
Right. Then you ask them, say, hey, where's the video of the Benghazi? Called Innocence of Muslims.
That's the name of the video?
Innocence of Muslims.
Okay. Well, I found it. And when I started...
I'm laughing because he's already told me about it.
Yeah. Well, I've said it on a show previously before. When I started watching the show, or the whatever it was, movie, video, whatever it was, I immediately, very, very quickly thought, okay, this is a poorly done parody of the video. That's what I thought it was. And so I stopped it and started looking for the real, quote, air quote, the real video. Well,
Right.
Turns out, as I did a little bit more research, I started seeing descriptions of the video and clips, excerpts from the video, and I realized I was actually watching the real video. It was so poorly done. It was so obnoxious and childish and just poor production, bad acting. The things they were saying were just stupid. It wasn't anything. Let's put it to you this way. If somebody's going to do a parody that insults conservatives and it's that poorly done, I'm not even going to take it seriously.
No.
I'm not even going to get upset. In fact, I'll say, yeah, good job, guys,
Well,
and then walk away.
What about the thing that we were going to do? We were going to take the Quran. I bought a Quran. And we were going to take the Quran and we were going to try and flush it down the toilet, but it wouldn't fit.
I think that's been done before, though, like a video of that.
True.
Possibly.
And they've burned it and they've done everything. But what we wanted to do was stick it in the toilet and do like that, like when you walk up to the ice cream machine and you pull the chocolate lever and it swirls on your cone.
Uh-huh.
Have that chocolate machine.
Oh, somebody dumping on it.
Right. So
but the source of the dumping would be out
ice
of frame.
cream.
It'd be out of
it
frame.
would be out of frame and it would be ice cream. So it's
dark
all
chocolate.
a joke.
Dark chocolate.
It'd be all a joke. It'd be hysterical. And it'd be poorly done. I promise. I promise.
That way you don't get too upset.
Right. So, but I'm wondering, could that incite a riot at an embassy somewhere?
No. It
What?
would be used as a blame for it.
Oh. Okay.
That's what happens.
I don't want to be blamed for anything. So, do you want to get to the heart and the meat, the butter, the crux of the entire thing?
I want to get to the ice cream.
This is the ice cream. The chocolate ice cream, if you will. Apparently, there we go. Mr. Producer. Representative, a Republican Martha Roby of Alabama, she took to Hillary and said, hey, we're the night of Benghazi, you said that you, in your book, that's when she brought up the book, in your book, right turns. I mean,
right turns.
Well, her arrow points right in her symbol for Hillary.
She's trying to, anyway, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
She says, in your book, you say that the night of the attacks, you left to go to your house.
Which one of her mansions did she go
Right,
to?
one of the umpteen. And when you got to your house, were you alone?
I had Sid Vicious with me.
Oh, no. So listen to this clip. She's going to just listen to the tone, the sincerity, the tone of the representative asking the question. I mean, folks, in all reality, 4 U.S. Members, one was an ambassador for the United States, and then the other 3 were either
Former SEALs, former service members.
working there, contractors,
right.
type thing. But they were murdered while in the mind frame that America was coming to rescue them.
Well, they thought that the
Air Force was coming.
Well, that any second
I was stationed in Italy, in Aviano, Italy. We had 2 squadrons of F-16s. There were a total of 43 F-16s. Squadron called the 555 and the 5 and dime, the 510. 2 squadrons of F-16s. They said that they could have been there in Libya within an hour and a half. Oh. Because those F-16s are always loaded, always fueled, always ready to go.
There's something there.
At a moment's notice on that base in Aviano, Italy, those aircraft are ready to fly at all times.
Some of them might even be in the air.
They may be running sorties. Like we were saying before, we were talking about sorties where they would fly sorties out of our base. They'd fly up in the sky, do a pattern, do whatever they're supposed to do, and then come back down, and then continue to do that on a regular basis. Practice, if you will. So when I say sorties, just imagine practice. They're always flying sorties, and it seems like they're always flying at night. So when you're trying to sleep at night, you hear the fighter jets taking off. Anyways, the fighter jets could have been in the air, could have refueled, whatever it took, could have been there within the hour. That's what was said. They could have been there within the hour.
Right, and we know as former, he was in the air. Brian was in the Air Force. I was in the military, in the Marine Corps, but not just the Marine Corps as a rifleman. I was in the Air Wing. I was out there getting planes ready for sorties every single day, and they were flying all the time, and we were going all over the world doing that stuff.
There's something else that they said that I didn't even think of. They were like, well, if those fighter jets were firing bullets, you could have killed innocent lives, killed our own people. And somebody said, one of the generals, somebody I was watching on one of the news channels, he said, no, in a situation like that, a probability, we would have done a 25-foot off the ground at the speed of sound flyby, which would have blown all the Muslims.
Oh, you're saying if they were unarmed, they could be unarmed completely. Because aircrafts go on sorties to do certain things, and they might not have actual armament on them at all, ordnance on them at all.
And a lot of the times, because they're coded, especially the ones with the F-16s, they're coded. The armaments are under the wing, and you know if it's a live round or not.
Yeah.
And when you see those code, you know it, and everybody knows it, and you freak out because you know something's going down. That's not normal.
You're saying do a sonic boom at low.
Maybe not 25 feet, but no, they were.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He was saying that they would. They do it often. They would do it often for the Muslims in the desert, in Saudi, in the Pakistan, Afghanistan.
A sonic boom at lower than 100 feet.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
that would break so many windows
in the Adobe huts.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They would crumble.
They
the
actually
roofs.
have real buildings there. Adobe huts.
No, but you're absolutely right. And they said that when they do sonic flybys like that, they said it absolutely gets them running for the hills. Literally.
I would think that would scare the ever-living crap out of me because I wouldn't know for sure if that was what it was. I would just hear the ginormous explosion, and it would sound like it was that whatever hit to explode happened like you're lucky to be alive. Like that close. Yeah.
You're like, oh, that must have been with these simple-minded individuals, oh my God, he dropped a bomb, and I'm still alive. I better get going. That was pretty bad.
I don't want to tempt fate again.
Right.
Yeah.
So he said that they would do that. That's very, very, very probable to go ahead and do that.
But they didn't because they were told to stand down. The one story, real quick, before we play the soundbite, this one just really, really upsets me emotionally. That the guy was painting the target, and the reason he was painting the target, listen, put yourself in his shoes. I don't care if you're in the military or not. You put a laser on a target so that an aircraft could use it as a target.
Well, even back even
with
further.
a smart weapon.
Back up a little bit further. Okay, you have a gun or you have a laser beam on a gun, and you see that you're under attack, and there's mortar fire coming at you from a specific location because it's the middle of the night and it's dark, and you see launching of the rockets, fire the bombs. So you take that laser light
and you paint the target by pointing it to it. And so here's the thing. You don't paint a target unless there's some indication that somebody knows that you're painting the target. So if he was painting the target, somebody outside of Benghazi, radioing in, gave him the belief that they were coming. Because you don't just paint a target and say, well, I don't know if anybody knows I'm painting this target, but I'm going to go ahead and paint it anyway. No! He would have had to been told, they're coming, go ahead and paint the target.
Right, or even at the worst case scenario, he knows they're being overrun. He knows that people are dying. He knows that he's going to die. This is the last-ditch effort. Well, I ain't got nothing else going on. Let's paint this thing up. In the prayer.
And I don't believe that.
I'm just saying it's another alternative, but in the prayer that maybe.
I would, if I was in that situation, if I wasn't somewhat sure that somebody knows that I'm about to do this and that there are aircraft coming in to go ahead and bomb where I'm painting, I'm just not going to paint the target.
Right. Maybe
I'm just not going to do it.
Maybe stay where you're at and maybe take shots at people coming at you or whatever.
Yeah, because I think that there's a better scenario than to just go ahead and paint it, having knowledge, knowing pretty well sure that probably nobody comment, but I'll go ahead and paint it anyway. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it.
And he was a trained military personnel. Right. It's not like,
So why am I saying this? The reason I'm saying this is because I want you to know that as an experienced military person, somebody told him that they're coming.
Right.
And that at some point between him being told that they're coming and him dying, that a stand down order was given.
Right. F-16s are on their way. What? Stand down?
Huh? Really? He's painting the target right now.
It's painted. Come on. What?
No.
Hey, stand down.
Hitler told me.
What? Can you hear me? Hello? Stand down. Ooh.
Well.
Hey, that stand down didn't work. What do we do now? Call Hillary.
Let's wait. Hurry up and wait.
So Hillary gets on the stand. And she's having this Martha Roby puts it to her, and the sincerity, the emotionalness of this entire thing. And this is first thing in the morning. This is bright night. I think it's like 7 in the morning or something.
Okay.
And this is how this went off.
You left your office on the night of the attacks and went to your home in Northwest Washington because you said you knew the next few days were going to be taxing and the department was going to be looking to you. I want to talk about a few things. Do you have a skiff in your home?
A skiff? What?
I guess that's military jargon. I didn't look it up, but we can look that up. Skiff. And then she gets into it. It has to do with security.
Stand by.
It has to do with security in her home. If she had a secured place, if it was secured line, and that's kind of how it went down. That that road of questioning.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and who else was at your home? Were you alone?
I was alone, yes.
The whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
Well, I don't know why that's funny.
Can you stop this for a second? Do you know, I've heard that soundbite before, but you know, right now that I think it was the second time I've heard it right now, it sounds to me like she knew. Maybe not that night, but it's common for her to go home with Sid Blumenthal. And that her initial involuntary snap reaction was, oh, I got caught here. Why wouldn't I be alone? No, you gotta, why wouldn't I be alone? Do you see anybody with me right now? I don't see anybody with me right now. That's what it sounds like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How else could you have a reaction like that?
Wow. Okay, SKIFF, United States Military Security and Intelligence. So that's what it means. It's just security intelligence.
Something or other.
Yeah.
I looked up skiff and it told me it was a boat.
Well, there's a skiff boat, which is flat bottom. That's not the boat that John Kerry was on.
Oh, SCIF. Is that what he's talking about?
Right. So anyway,
Sensitive Compartment Information Facility, which would be where you would broadcast classified information.
Right. So what she's asking her, do you have the ability to communicate from your house
in a secure way?
And she's like, yeah, man, I got emails too.
My bathroom that my server's in, I'm going to call it skiff. It's good enough.
It is, because I got a lock and key on it.
So it's SCIF, Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility, which is just the most militaristic jargon.
So when she's going to her house, they want to know that she has the ability to communicate via, like the red phone, the bat phone. Do you have the ability to only speak to high intel personnel, whether it be by phone or email or whatever, receive information?
Yeah, so when the guy is at the phone booth in the movies and said, "Is this a secure line?"
Right.
He could say, "Is this a skiff?"
Right.
Yes, I'm in a skiff at the airport, at the train station.
You mean the one that says phone booth on the outside,
and it's wood.
Oh,
yeah, that one. It's a row. It's a row of wooden phone booths. For those of you that are over 59, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So let me back this audio up just a little bit and see if we can't get emotionally charged back into this.
I'm going to be looking to you. I want to talk about a few things. Do you have a skiff in your home?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and who else was at your home? Were you alone?
I was alone, yes.
The whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
What is that?
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it funny at all.
I'm sorry, a little note of levity at 7:15.
Well, I mean, the reason I say it's not funny is because it went well into the night when our folks on the ground were still in danger. So I don't think it's funny to ask if you were alone the whole night.
Congresswoman, you asked if I had a skiff. I had secure phones. I had other equipment that kept me in touch with the State Department at all times. I did not sleep all night. I was very much focused on what we were doing.
So if that was true, why laugh so hard if you were alone? Was she not alone? And if she wasn't, was the nature of her not aloneness so embarrassing that she had an involuntary Joker laugh?
Dude, is that not? Hold on. Ready? Dude, I didn't make this up.
It's identical.
Dude, none of that is edited.
Identical.
There's no editing there other than the fact I looped the same laugh.
So the one, what Brian just
Have you ever seen the
1989 version of Batman.
The greatest Batman there ever was.
You lost the millennials there.
Oh,
they are.
Except
they
for
think
that.
Heath Ledger was the greatest Joker, and even though who's the guy that plays Batman? The whatever his name is,
The one that blew up on the you just give the background, good moving, you SOB and MF and LOP and DAK and
yes, that
he
guy.
went on a tear.
It was method acting. It was true. It is true.
He broke character.
Oh.
He literally broke his character. He was method acting.
He broke something.
He broke character, split a spleen, went postal, and lit up a grip.
Christian Bale.
Right. Lit up this grip, and a grip is a guy who's like a stagehand in the background.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Lit the grip up
Oh, he lit
for
him
moving
up.
around. And
He was trying to apologize. He's like, no, you're not allowed to get out of it that easy. I'm going to lay into you a little bit more.
I'm not done with you. I want to see blood.
Got to do it in his voice. No, listen.
Right. So
Christian Bale, yeah.
So
No, the millennials will tell
Right.
you. No. Michael Keaton and Jack
Nicholson?
Hell no.
Right.
Jack Nicholson. Hell no. It's all about Christian Bale and Heath Ledger.
Okay. So Jack is doing this Jack laugh that's recorded, and it's
Well, no, it's a wind-up toy.
right. That's recorded, and it's purposely looped, and he's laying dead, and that's the Joker gets the last laugh.
That's what it is. Yeah.
you know,
Very
so,
stylized. Very stylized.
So, but how? I mean, honestly, I'm not making this up. Dude, did we just break news here? Have you ever seen Jack and Hillary in the same room?
Is that Jack Nicholson dressed as a maybe?
Because it is about
He
the
should've
ugliest
got-
woman I've ever seen.
Whoa!
Well, I mean, I was talking about Jack. Oh, the Joker was a man. Oh, well, CB, you can't prejudge.
Can we give Jack Nicholson Woman of the Year? That's the only thing I want to know.
Well, Kate Jenner is getting Woman of the Year
You
with
mean Bruce?
No, Caitlyn Jenner.
Bruce.
Caitlyn.
What are you doing here?
She's getting Woman of the Year while owning still a manhood. She owns her manhood. She has manhood.
She has
And-
junk in the front.
Right, and she's being elected Woman of the Year. So I can't prejudge Jack's character as being a male or a female. It's not my business. Or Hillary.
Does he have Frank and Beans?
Frank and Beans is currently, but that doesn't matter. It's irregardless. By the way, folks, the word irregardless is not a word. So when you hear older folks say that, older folks will say that.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Like,
not,
what do you mean by older? Like 40s? Because like people in their
like
70s.
our parents.
No,
They're like irregardless.
no.
People don't say that nowadays. They say it nowadays?
I think people in our generation do, and maybe
No.
millennials,
Oh, no.
older millennials.
Because they got it from their grandfather.
Younger people, thanks to our Department of Education, which is the propaganda wing of the Communist Party, not the Democrat Party, the Communist Party, because that's
Right.
what it's about communism.
Right.
They are all about redefining all words, making up new words. The new thing this year is what new words are there that we can add to the Webster dictionary. That's like a big thing every year now.
Right. Hillary.
Okay, let's add it.
There you go. And Hitlery.
So we're hypocrites because we want to add that.
Hitlery and cutlery.
No, killery.
Killery.
You said cutlery.
Cutlery.
I think cutlery is probably in the dictionary.
I know.
We need to redefine it.
So we'll come full circle with this.
Get back to our roots.
Full circle. After the hearing was over, Hillary took to Twitter, and she tweeted, "A lesson from Benghazi. Congress needs to do its part to ensure that our diplomats in dangerous parts of the world are safe as possible."
So what, is she just claiming incompetence?
She said it was Congress's fault,
For doing what?
not keeping them safe.
What? What was Congress supposed to do?
Well, she said they need to do its part. Congress needs
They
to do
are.
its part.
They're putting her on the hot seat. This is what Congress does to keep our diplomats safe. When the person who's directly responsible for the death of our entire consulate, they then hold that person responsible. So they are absolutely doing their part. And I'm glad to hear that Hillary is acknowledging that.
Yes.
I'll give her kudos.
There you go.
I'll give her kudos.
See, I didn't see through that.
Yeah.
Folks, I need to be sharpened. My tools.
And I am the sharpener.
Yep. And we are good to go. So, apparently, she took to Rachel Madcow's show.
And this was all scheduled because the whole thing was and
Scarborough sticks up for her.
Well,
she does her interview,
and I got to give Rush credit. I mean, it might have been Rush or whoever it was. It's probably Rush. I'll give Rush credit. He points out all this is scripted. Everybody knows that no matter what happens at the hearing,
right,
it's going to be reported as a huge victory. And when they overdo it, that's when you know that they lost big time. And I believe they did.
They way overdid
it.
Well, when you get a supposed Rhino former Republican employee, if you will,
saying it was a home run for Hillary.
He said TKO.
What? That's not even credible.
Tactical knockout. Not a knockout.
I mean, I would understand something like that from Brian Williams, but from Joe Scarborough, you know what it was? He knew for his side to win, the Republicans, for his side to win, he needs
to get Hillary to be the president.
He needs to oversell it.
Oh.
MSNBC said, all right, listen, Joe, we know she got killed out there. Trounced. So we need to do our part like we agreed to before this all started to talk about how much of a victory this is for Hillary. And now Joe's like thinking, this is ridiculous. I'll tell you what I'll do.
TKO!
I'll oversell it. That way, everybody listening will be like, what?
Okay, now, have you ever seen that 90-second Mike Tyson killer? Okay, this was along those lines, but it was a tactical knockout. But if there was a way for Hillary to get up and just knock Trey Gowdy out, she literally would have and could have. TKO.
You know, the whole thing, I'm a huge boxing fan. Huge. I mean, I go way back. I mean, I know I could tell you how boxing matches went for the past couple decades.
Right.
Because I watched them all. I have them all recorded. I'll rewatch them. I mean, I'm a big-time boxing fan. I'm probably a bigger boxing fan than probably anybody you know.
I've become a large boxing fan because of you.
Right. And I will tell you, a TKO, people get this wrong. They think, hey, a KO is good, but a TKO, even better.
Pull the brakes.
No, e-brake right now. Yeah. I would rather have a boxer have nothing but KOs than nothing but TKOs.
Right.
Because a knockout, a KO, means the guy was physically incapable of getting off the canvas.
Right.
Where a TKO means he was up, he was on his feet, but the ref just said, nah, I'm
And there's been some shady
TKOs are very controversial.
Especially if the ref is paid off.
Yeah, a KO is way better, infinitely better
there's no question.
than a TKO.
Yeah, because you're laying on the ground.
Unable to get up. That means that the ref got the 10,
right,
and you didn't even get up.
So I don't think there are any TKOs in any of the Rocky movies, were there?
No.
I think they were all KOs.
No, that's a good point.
Right.
Boxing movies, which are all about the dramatics of the whole situation.
Why would you do a TKO?
Never do a TKO.
Well,
never.
They would if there was some shady business on the back end early in the movie.
Okay.
Early in the movie, they found out that, and he's like, "What? I won that!" And he found out there was some shady payoff.
Okay, so if the
and then he gets a rematch.
If the movie's plot, if a big plot point was to introduce controversy, then they would do a TKO.
Right. Other than that, no.
It's KO every time. Because a KO is, everybody's like, yeah, he got knocked the beep out. Where's my beep button? I need my easy button. All right. There we go. What was that?
Why did the beep not beep her out?
I know, exactly.
So Rachel Madcow, and here's their talking, and Rachel poses, there's a Republican. He's already out to get you, even if you become president.
I mean, you don't have the nomination, and there's already a sitting Republican member of Congress from Alabama, Mo Brooks, who says that he is ready to impeach you on the first day of your presidency.
Isn't that pathetic?
It's just laughable.
It's so totally
but that
ridiculous.
is where the Republican Party
That is
is.
where
That's
they are.
probably good politics in Republican politics for him to say that.
It perhaps is good politics with the most intense, extreme part of their base. I guess that is, or otherwise, why would they be doing it? And I think we have to, really try to build a larger base of our own that cuts across all kinds of geographic and political gradations.
I don't know what that word means.
Let's try to have, from a center to a center left understanding about certain things, and then let's have a good old-fashioned argument and fight about progressive values versus the alternatives. But there are some
progressive values versus the alternatives. So what she's saying is there's only one. It's progressives. The rest of you're the alternatives, and you're looped in one group.
things like not defaulting on our debt that should not even be the subject of a political argument. It is just beyond my understanding how anybody, despite how extreme he might be, would think it would be in America's interest to default on our debt. And so for whether it's the president or me or anyone else, you just have to keep trying to build the case as best you can and look for ways to bring, those who are responsible.
Is she talking about the shutdown of the government?
She turned that whole thing into who would default on the government?
Well, I know she changed the subject, but let me go ahead and blow that up real quick. She gave a false. Okay, so her thing is either we shut down the government and possibly default, or we don't do anything until we have to do that. So if we don't do anything, forcing us to either default or raise the debt limit so that we can go into more debt, then that would be what the preferable thing, I guess.
Right. How dare you think that we wouldn't raise the debt limit?
They're saying the responsible thing is to be completely irresponsible until there's no way to fix the problem. That way, we're left with the choice of either giving us more money to avoid a default,
right,
or default.
Right.
So she's advocating for irresponsibility.
Absolutely.
Which you don't know because you don't know the backstory.
Well, if you read her website, she clearly tells you.
Oh, really?
Exactly, yeah.
In those words?
Yeah, she said.
She's advocating for irresponsibility.
Oh, yes.
Oh, by the way, she said gradation. Now, was she talking about, she said geography and then gradation, which gradation is not a word. What I think she meant to say was gradation.
Okay.
Which she meant by, which the definition is a scale or series of successive changes. But the thing is she said it right after geography, and I feel like when she said gradation, she meant like a grid. Geographic grid. Which is not a word. So I don't know.
She invented a word.
Unless she was talking about gradation.
But then that wouldn't match up with her geography. Unless she was trying to change the geography of the land with a backhoe.
Webster. We're calling you. We're calling you.
We need Hillary on the books. We need Hitlery on the books and gradation.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. So 9 top revelations to the Benghazi Inquisition.
Is that what they're calling it?
No, they're calling everything.
It's a witch hunt.
It's a witch hunt.
Oh, come on.
Hillary told the Prime Minister of Egypt on September 12th, the day after, there was no video. There was no. The video was not responsible.
Okay,
she told him.
We all knew that, right. And she knew that. She was going to continue to lie.
Right. Ambassador Chris Stevens did not have Clinton's personal email, but Sid Vicious did. Clinton broke the law in failing to sign a waiver for security at Benghazi. Okay, now I had to look into that and understand what that meant. In 1999, there was an act that was passed after the attacks in Kenya and Tanzania. They passed an act in 99 that said ambassador, all outposts where ambassadors are. What's the word for? I'm looking for it.
Ambassadors?
Yeah, all the consulates.
Okay.
All the American consulates around the world must have a minimum security of X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
Bare minimum.
Right.
She was supposed to sign off on that for Benghazi, and she never did it.
Is there a reason she didn't do it?
Don't know, but technically she broke the law by not doing it.
Okay, so irregardless,
because that don't make no never mind.
For those of you baby boomers, she broke the law regardless of whether or not she was supposed to or not by not signing it.
Correct.
Or whatever her motive was. Doesn't matter what her motive was.
And this is the most just insane thing that came out. Clinton believes that Christopher Stevens was responsible for his own death.
What? What are you talking about?
The most despicable line of the day, this is all from Breitbart, by the way. The most despicable line of the day came from Hillary's defense of her own conduct via ripping Christopher Stevens, the dead ambassador. She spent virtually the entire day suggesting that Stevens knew the risk of his job, that he accepted those risks, that he died knowing those risks. She even said that Stevens felt comfortable, quote, on the ground.
What?
If quote, if that is true, it's certainly odd that the State Department team in Libya asked for more security over 600 times. Hillary said she didn't receive any of those requests and blamed her security team for not granting more security, which she should have signed the paperwork. All the while saying she took responsibility for what happened. She said
That's amazing.
And this is going to burn you. She said that she thought Christopher Stevens was joking when he asked about security at the compound.
She didn't say that.
Well, Congress, quote, well, Congresswoman, one of the great attributes, because she did, yes, one of the great attributes that Chris Stevens had was a really good sense of humor. And I just see him smiling as he's typing this because it's clearly in response to the email down below talking about picking up a few fire sale items from the Brits.
I'm not following.
Okay. So she says when they asked
her... Sounds like
her,
she's muddying the water.
Well, she did. And she's trying to say, no, you guys got it all wrong. When he asked for more security, I thought he was joking. Because if you look further down, he says, quote, yeah, just going out, picking up a few, quote, fire sale items from the Brits.
Okay,
so fire sale items. I don't know what that lingo means because I'm not in that position. However, what it means, the, quote, fire sale items were barricades left behind by the British who were leaving Benghazi because it was unsafe. He was going to the Brits to take their security
in order to
protect himself,
more protected. So he was joking, literally. Okay. Listen, very.
I don't think it's. I think it's sarcasm. I think it's sarcasm.
No, very carefully listen. Sure, we don't expect him to go and actually maybe he may not be physically able to do that. Maybe some of the fire sale items he was talking about would require equipment to go get, like a forklift or whatever it might have been.
Crane, backhoe, whatever.
But he was joking about the fact that nobody's listening to him when he said he needed some security.
Right. The Brits are leaving, so we're going to go over to the British consulate and we're going to go pick up some fire sale items.
Because you're not doing it.
Ding, ding, ding.
So it was a joke on her.
And she didn't even know it. She didn't even, to this day, nobody informed her. She's in front of Congress giving this testimony, and nobody informed her on how stupid she is.
Analogy time. All right, here you go. For those of you in Westwood, you got a child.
Give it to me deep and long.
Your child goes to Westwood. We're going to go deep on this.
Okay.
You got a child. You live in Westwood. Your child goes to Westwood Elementary School.
Okay.
Your child comes home and says, Mommy, my teacher said I need pencils and paper.
Okay.
You then ignore that.
Oh, okay. Because I don't have the money right now for that.
Whatever the reason.
I'll do that when I get.
Whatever the reason.
I'll do that when I get.
Maybe I'm just stretching here. Total tinfoil hat. Maybe you don't want your child to get an education. You want them to fail out. You want them to be stupid. So you don't. Maybe.
I'm done. Whatever.
Maybe you just don't feel like you're just lazy. Your bonbons on your couch. Whatever.
Or it just keeps slipping. They tell you it slipped my mind. Okay, I'll get, and you just never get to it.
Right now, your child, after 600 times of asking for pencils and paper and money for milk,
3 times a day for 200 days. I almost said 3 times a day for 200 days.
Your child then comes to you and says, well, Mommy, I'm going to go ahead and steal Johnny's pencils and papers, I guess. I guess that's what I'm going to do. Bye-bye.
Maybe she says, you know what, Mommy, can I get the pencils and paper? No, okay, I guess I'm going to go to Walmart and just steal them.
Okay, that, or steal them from Johnny at school.
Right.
Whatever. All right. Teacher comes next day. Your child is in the office.
Being
right
suspended.
Now. He's going to be expelled.
Right.
Stole pencils and papers from Johnny.
No, you don't understand.
I thought he was joking about... No, not joking about stealing. Joking about needing the pencils and papers. I thought he was joking about needing them because clearly, as soon as he told me he was going to go steal it from Johnny, I knew he was joking, so I guess he was joking about needing the pencils and paper.
Because my kids don't steal.
He was joking. He didn't need pencils and paper. Look, you can see.
It's jokes for the masses.
He joked about stealing it, so he obviously was joking about needing it.
Because I can see him smiling right now.
Oh.
She said that. She said, I can see him smiling right now.
Meanwhile, your child's in Child Protective Services, and you're never going to see him again.
And hope to God that he doesn't go out like Christopher Stevens.
Oh, he's gone. She's not going to see him anymore. He's in child. Look, I would rather go out like Christopher Stevens and be in the hands of the U.S. government.
Well, yeah, because you know who they're leading up some of the pre-K through 12 or the pre-K.
I don't know.
Organization.
I don't know. It can't be good.
Jared.
Oh,
he got himself a job. He got a job. He told him he was good with kids.
I could see that.
And he had a nonprofit for children.
Well, they thought he was joking.
It was a joke.
Oh, so that analogy was brought to you by Carrie Smith of Smith Radio.
And had nothing to do with Jared from Subway.
Okay.
So, contrary to her claims to have done everything possible, Clinton decided not to send help, i.e. FES, which is Foreign Emergency Support. She did say she decided not to send help.
Because she thought he was joking?
Something she didn't give a reason.
Okay. Did anybody ask her?
They did, but she never gave an answer.
Here's what I want to know why they didn't ask her. Didn't she, on several occasions during the hearing, still refer to the video?
Yeah, they do. We're getting to that. We're getting to that. Oh, yeah.
All right. When we get to the video, let me comment on it.
Okay. Clinton solicited intelligence from Sid Vicious, but he claims, I didn't know where he was getting it from. Yeah, I did get his information, but I don't know where he got it from.
Okay.
I don't know who he's getting it from. I don't know.
Probably the Kremlin. I don't know.
It's possible. Clinton had no explanation for why she installed a private server and failed to reveal its existence. They asked her, quote, did you tell your lawyers prior to this investigation that you had a private server?
Okay.
That's very critical because if you speak to your lawyer, there's client attorney privilege.
Right.
And that you don't need to say anything, you don't have to, and the lawyer doesn't have to say anything. So you're bound by this privacy clause, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They want to know, did you tell your lawyer before this was going down? Before any of this? Before Benghazi? Did you ever tell your lawyer?
But does she have to answer that?
She never did.
She never did what? Answer it?
She never answered it.
Well, I don't think she has to.
Well,
I mean, they're asking if she... They're asking
if she said, yes, I did tell my lawyers. That's all she needs. And now I don't need to say any more about it. She could have said, yeah, I told my lawyers. Well, when? I'm sorry, that's client-attorney privilege.
Well, what did you say?
You're gonna have to ask Sid Bloom. I mean, my lawyer.
Whoa,
slip of the lip.
Wow. You'll have to ask the Kremlin.
Yeah, that's good. Clinton believes that 90 to 95% of her emails were on the State Department email system. Even if that were true, it leaves out hundreds of thousands of emails. State Department could not verify any of that, and their claim is that they have probably less than 1% on their system.
You would think they would be able to put out a nationwide subpoena to every government worker to say, I don't. This may be wishful thinking, but let's just say,
if you were a Republican, they would.
Okay, here's what you could theoretically say: if you work in the government, it means you work under us. We're putting out an order right now. If you have any email anywhere saved in your thing of emails that's from Hillary Clinton, print it off, put it in this envelope, send it to this address, whatever. And then they could have, you would start to trickle in emails.
The spider web of emails.
Around
I don't
the
even
country.
think they would even have to have them send it in. They should be able to see into all the government servers. They should do a search.
I see. That's they should. You would think theoretically they should be able to do that.
You could get that kid, that high schooler who's protesting against the American government, who claims to have broken into the Department of Defense's
the IRS. I think was FBI, IRS, CIA, something.
The high up.
Yeah, it was the director.
Director CIA.
Wow.
I think it was the director of CIA.
That would be like,
he broke in and the director like, no, that never happened. And the kid's like, oh, it did happen. And by the way,
he bragged about it.
I gave it all to WikiLeaks.
Oh, no.
And now WikiLeaks is publishing it.
Oh, jeez. You know that,
and he's saying some bad things about Obama.
You know, when that happens, you have to bust those kids for espionage. This is if this happened back in the 80s. First of all, we would all be horrified. We'd be like, what kind of a treasonous traitor would do something like that? And I don't care if you're 12 years old, because I think he is like, wasn't he like 13?
He was
like 13. No, he's like junior high or something. Really young.
Ninth grade.
Okay, 14 maybe.
The kid's
really young.
Ninth grade borders junior high school. You're right there on the cusp.
All right. Well, he's very young. He's not like some 17-year-old kid.
Ninth grade and a half going in 10th grade.
So he's some real young kid.
Producer says he's 14 3/4. No hairs on his chin yet.
Okay.
None. No puberty.
Okay. All right. That would be late bloomer.
late bloomer.
He's definitely a late bloomer.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's all. He's only got time to stay in the basement, no sunlight, and stay on his computer.
Does that stunt your growth?
No sunlight?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
Does he drink coffee?
Look at Bill Gates.
Oh, he still hasn't gone through puberty. Oh my gosh.
Whew, where did we go with this? Boy, we got enemies coming out of the woodwork.
He doesn't even need to shave.
No.
Bill Gates.
He's never shaved in his entire life.
Look at him.
Right. No sunlight either.
He looks like Shaggy.
Yeah. Oh, Scooby too.
Anyway,
so and the last thing, after all this time, Clinton still blames YouTube video.
Okay, so back full circle.
Okay.
Here's what I would have asked her. As soon as she referenced the video, I would have said, whoa, we need to stop real quick. Stop. Look, can we stop real quick? And I need not to change the subject.
Okay.
I just need to get you on record. I need to ask you a very direct question, and I need a very direct answer, hopefully just a yes or no.
I know that's not going to happen, but I'm begging.
And if you try to give a non-yes or no answer, I'm going to
cut you.
No, I'm going to go ahead and say, so does that mean yes then? Or does that mean no? Or I may even go so far as to say, so that means yes.
And then shake your head one way or the other,
or
yes or
you
no.
could tilt it like the dog does when you make a funny noise.
Just blink an eye.
Okay, so here's the question.
So Nancy Pelosi fails.
Are you currently still blaming the video? Are you holding any responsibility for the video for that attack?
So she answered that question with a direct answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh,
folks! I didn't make that up.
I
didn't make any of that up.
All right. So here's the reason why we need a. First of all, if she says no, then I would say, well, why did you just do it then?
Right.
Why did you just blame the video again?
Right.
If she says yes, then I would move to bust her for lying to Congress.
Correct.
And if it's either way, I will have an argument for busting her, doing the Bill Clinton thing,
right.
Impeachment, lying to Congress.
Right. She should be disbarred from ever running from any political office ever,
or being a lawyer or any of that.
I don't even know if she still has a law license. You know, I was told Obama and Michelle both do not have their law licenses. Both gave them their law licenses up.
The whole thing is, if we can get her to lie to Congress, then she's done for life.
We don't need to get her to. She already did.
No. I mean, we need to. We need to accuse her of it.
Oh yeah, right, and take the necessary steps. Next action.
So, I understand we're trying to get to the bottom of the Benghazi thing, and we're like, who's the main guy? The Benghazi, Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy pointed out, this is not a hearing. This is just we're trying to get information. We're not trying you on Benghazi thing. We're just trying to get. It's not a criminal prosecution or anything like that.
Right.
However, that doesn't mean that she's immune from lying to Congress.
No.
So as soon as she references the video, right there, there's blood in the water.
Right.
There is. As soon as that's referenced, now we stop what we're doing. Stop everything. Are you blaming the video? And if she says yes, I'll be like, okay, well, we know that that's not true, so you're lying to us.
Because you told the Prime Minister of Egypt the day after September 12th
that you knew it wasn't the video.
That you knew it wasn't the video.
So by telling us that you do think it's the video, we now have you for lying.
Right.
However, if you say no, I don't think it's a video, I'm digging way deeper here because you just referenced the video. Why did you reference the video?
Right.
Did you just lie there, or would you give her breathing room, Brian?
None.
If she said, "Oh well, I was a misstep. I misspoke." Would you say, "All right, I just wanted to get that straight"?
Susan Rice said it.
Said what?
It was the video.
Yeah, but you know it's not.
But Susan Rice said it.
She's not here right now.
Why are you blaming me? It was her. It was the one-armed...
Did you fire Susan Rice?
No, it was the one-armed man.
The one-armed man? Yeah. It's the six-fingered man.
No,
you killed my father. Prepare to die.
Harrison Ford in that movie, he was running away, trying to look for the one-armed man that killed his wife.
Harrison Ford?
Yeah. He was running...
You don't know the name of the movie?
Who's the guy who played in Men in Black? Not Will Smith, but the other guy.
Oh, Two-Face.
Yes, Two-Face. So Two-Face is also in that movie as the FBI guy hunting Harrison Ford
He's
down.
Always an FBI guy.
Right.
There are two truths in life. Tommy Lee Jones is always an FBI guy, and Harris. What's his, something Harris?
Harris?
No. What's his name? He's always the military guy, the military general.
The Fugitive.
Oh, The Fugitive.
The movie The Fugitive. So then in The Mask with Jim Carrey, he told the cops that were going to arrest him, say, it wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. So there was a reference to it. Anyway, so that's who Hillary blamed it on, the one-armed man.
Oh.
Passing right
Ed
along.
Harris.
Ed Harris.
There's two truths. He's always the military general.
Right.
And Tommy Lee
Except
Jones.
for the time he played as the preacher in that one church movie.
I don't know. The Tommy Lee Jones is always the FBI guy.
Right. So are you ready for the Catch Me If You Can section I'm going to throw out one-liners, and you tell me...
Is this a lightning round?
If it's real or not.
Okay.
This is from Hillary Clinton's website. Verbatim. Word for word.
Let me stop you right there. Not real.
You don't know yet.
Well, no, I'm saying what you just said is not right. Not true.
Okay. 7 of Clinton's biggest accomplishments.
Do I stop on each of them, or are we doing it as a whole?
One at a time.
Okay, one at a time.
7 of her biggest accomplishments.
Hillary or Bill?
Hillary.
Okay.
So 7 of her biggest accomplishments.
Now hold on. Before I
no, that should be a lie or no lie. She has 7 accomplishments.
Oh, I thought you were going to list them.
Yeah, but that kind of.
Well, I listened to Sean Hannity.
Right.
Every single time he has somebody that's supporting or is in favor of a Hillary presidency in any way, shape, or form, every time without fail he says, "Okay, name me 3 Hillary accomplishments."
I've got 7.
Well, I could say no.
I've got 7.
Nobody. Now, I'm not talking about.
I need to call Sean up and tell Sean. I've got 7.
Okay.
Not only 3. I've got 7.
You know, last Friday? It was either Friday or Thursday. They had a guy on defending Hillary. And of course, like clockwork. By the way, this guy was just a call-in guy. This guy was not an expert in any. He was just a caller.
Was it pretty good?
He said, name me 3 accomplishments.
Okay.
He was able to hold up Sean for like the next 15 minutes.
No!
He wouldn't stop. Every time he busted him on an accomplishment, whether it being...
He come up with another one.
He's like, okay, all right, I'll name another one. And then he would start spouting off, and I'm like, this guy's never going to end.
Okay, so I've got 7, and you play Sean Hannity. Okay. I'll play the caller.
I'll try to play Sean Hannity.
Okay, so say caller, give me 3.
All right, you support Hillary?
Yeah,
you support Hillary?
I do.
All right, name me 3 accomplishments of hers.
I'll give you more than 3. I'll give you 7.
That qualifies her for being president.
7. I've got them.
All right, let's hear it.
Number 1, fought for children and families for 40 years and counting.
Okay, you know what, Sean, easy. He'd say, well, did she get anything out of that? She accomplish anything?
That's the number 1 thing on her website. Number 1 on her website.
You know what, Sean said,
fought for children and families.
I fight. Literally, Sean said this. I fight for conservatism for the past 20 years on the radio, but that's not an accomplishment. That's something you're fighting for. You have to accomplish something.
Okay.
So this is what he says.
All right.
This is what he says. Okay, so that one doesn't count. Give me your first one now. Go. That's what he says.
Okay, here's my second one.
No, this is the first one. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. First one.
Okay, here's my
3 accomplishments. That's all I need.
Here's my second one. Help provide millions of children with health care.
Did she? Is that a Hillary accomplishment?
I don't know.
First of all, I don't even think it's an Obama accomplishment. If anything, less people are on some sort of a insurance.
Right. And they're saying that Obamacare is completely falling apart. All of it.
We all knew that was going to happen.
Apart. Right.
And that's by design, by the way. For those of you that don't know, don't think of this unraveling of Obamacare is somehow a disappointment in their minds. This was by design. It was supposed to fall so hard flat on its face that it requires the communists, the central planners, if you will, to say, well, I guess the government's got to do it 100% single payer.
And they're saying now that Obama broke the law again by shifting money to fund Obamacare without Congress's approval.
When has he done anything with Congress?
No, nothing, never.
It's all executive orders.
Right. So that's illegal. Anyways.
He's ignoring the Constitution because it's an unwritten law that you don't get in his way. You don't oppose him. You don't say, whoa, Obama. That's against the law. We're not going to allow you to do that.
Right.
The unwritten rule, you don't do it.
Okay, so the millions of children on health care, we can't, that's just...
First of all, I think it's just made up.
Okay. Third.
I mean, what proof do you have that number 2 is even real?
Okay. Third.
This is your first one. Give me your first one.
Okay.
Go. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Okay, number 3. Helped get 9/11 first responders health care they needed.
Isn't that like similar to the second one? Third one, I mean? What are we on?
3.
Isn't that similar to the second one that you're just making it up?
First one fought for families and children 40 years. Second one provided millions of health care for children. Third one provided health care for 9/11 first responders.
So she said, so if somebody said we provided health care for children and health in 9/11 responders, can we divide that up into 2 accomplishments?
We need to split that up.
We need to split it up. That way we'll have 2 instead of 1.
Oh, we can even have 3 because then we can say we covered all of them, and then we covered this section and this section.
We can go infinite.
Okay.
And then listen, for little boys, little girls, little black boys, little white girls, little white boys, white Indian, Native American. Oh, an Indian! Wow, slipped on some awesome sauce right there.
Did you just get a mouthful of awesome sauce?
This is a children's show. Wow. Wait, is this children's show or family friendly? Oh boy! Hold on. If you're listening this far into the show, you're a fan enough to know this is what we do.
Good times. Good times.
Rock and roll.
So she's splitting it, and now this is 1, 2, 3, number 4. Told the world. This is an accomplishment. She told the world that women, air quotes, women's rights are human rights.
Wait a minute. An accomplishment?
That's an accomplishment.
That she told
the world.
She told the world something. It doesn't matter what it is.
She told the world.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah. Human rights.
I just want to tell you guys, I've been trying to tell the world for years, and finally, I told the world. I've been trying to tell the world for years, but I just haven't been able to open up my mouth. Every time she's like that kid that cries, but nothing's coming. Like,
right.
You look at him and you think the mute button has been hit.
Right.
Have you seen a child cry like that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where they're like,
my kids will do that.
I'm talking, they're hurt so bad
that nothing comes out.
They got the tears. They got the mouth wide open.
Not breathing.
They're turning purple. There no air is passing through, and they're in full cry, full 100%. But nothing. They're on mute.
Right.
That was Hillary, and finally,
that was Hillary for 40 years.
Right, and finally something came out, and she's listing that as an accomplishment.
Right. Right.
What the hell?
However, the women that Bill raped...
Oh, which one?
All of them.
Okay.
Would disagree with Hillary. Would disagree with her.
Okay, but I don't even... Okay, that's true. That's true. If somehow her saying to the world...
Yeah.
It accomplished something...
Right.
And accomplished enough to be listed as a list of accomplishments...
Right, right.
That's fine, but
Okay.
What you're saying is that it would be discredited by the fact that she actively worked to cover up
and destroy
the victims of her husband's rapage.
Yeah.
And these are adults. We're not even talking about the plane rides to the islands that
the kids
having sexual relations with underage minors.
And how do we know about that? Because it's leaked.
Yeah.
There was an island that he would fly to. He may even still be going.
Well, he was good, close friends with a guy who is a convicted child rapist.
Right.
Who was a billionaire that would fly to these islands and conduct his debauchery with children.
He would get children from around the world. Steal them, literally.
And Clinton would go on the plane rides to these locations himself with him.
Right.
But nothing happened.
No, of course not.
Well, he's not involved in that stuff.
No, why would he be?
No. Of course not.
President POTUS. Well, he was the POTUS.
Okay.
Stood up for LGBT rights at home and abroad.
How is this an accomplishment? Was she seated and then stood up?
LGBTQQIAAP.
LMNOP.
No, do not mock. Do not mock these. These are real people.
Okay.
These are transsexual, queer, questioning, intersexual,
Intersexual.
intersex. I don't know what intersex is.
That means you imagine it in your mind.
Okay, asexual,
Okay.
ally. We
What?
talked about this one.
I know, but I can't remember.
I ally with you. I'm a straight guy, but I'm supporting you. I ally. Ally.
Do you know what? They need that because, as Rush Limbaugh pointed out many times before, that LGBT population is like 1/100th of 1% of the population.
Right. And so to broaden that, they say allies and pansexual,
Okay.
as well as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and pansexual. Miley Cyrus just came out recently and said she was pansexual.
Does that mean you have sex with people overseas?
Pandas?
No, like Pan Am America.
Not anymore.
No, I mean like what are those?
Pandemic?
Yeah, pandemic. I'll tell you this: Miley Cyrus having sex is a pandemic.
That is a pandemic. So she stood up for LGBT rights, home and abroad, which is, I don't know how that's an accomplishment. Helped expand health care and family leave for military families. See, you missed that one.
But did she?
No, this is a slice of the pie. Well, I don't know.
It said she helped. Helped who?
Right.
Did she do it? Did she spearhead it, or did she help?
She said she helped. Helped expand.
Did it expand? She's saying it must have expanded, but somehow she had her hand in that.
Well, I don't know how she expanded for military people because the VA is completely imploding. I don't see no expansion there.
Well, yeah, but she's not talking about the VA.
She's talking about military families.
But she's talking about
Active?
expanding what? What? Read it again.
Health care for family leave for military. Oh,
Healthcare
we're not even talking about health care.
She's talking about family
leave.
Yeah, we're not
for
talking
military
about
personnel.
Yeah, that's why when you said VA, it didn't make sense to me.
Well, I just wrapped it up into health care.
So basically, she's saying one of her only 7 accomplishments.
That's number 6.
Well, actually, it's actually number 1 because the other ones don't count.
How about
But
this?
I might actually give that to her. I may get. Listen, if she actually did help and it actually did happen, well, I mean, who am I to say that she didn't do that?
That's very possible.
Well, I think she's ready for presidency now. Yes or no?
I don't know. Number
and you
7.
And let me remind you, you are under oath.
Oh, Lord. Number 7, which is verifiable by Wiki.
This is actually number 2, by the way, but go ahead.
Negotiated ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
Did she?
Well, I don't know. According to Wiki.
Which, by the way, is written by a bunch of propagandists in the Communist Party.
Says June 06 dash ongoing.
What? It's not even done. Wait, hold on. Did it say that she did negotiate or helped further it, or what was the verbiage?
Negotiated a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
First of all, do we even imagine that there's a ceasefire?
Dude, there's an all-out war over there right now.
Yeah.
Where's the ceasefire part? Who stopped firing?
So you're saying that if it was her that negotiated that, it's an epic fail.
So you're saying that's not an accomplishment then?
Why
is that on her website as of today?
It would be like saying that you worked for a company, that you currently work for a company that fired you.
Oh, the dude in Office Space. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get a check.
Gosh, but he
kept going there. He kept saying he was working,
but he was there.
It's my job.
But he was there.
It's my job.
I'm saying you
But
wrote.
we fired you years ago. No.
But he's still there. He has an argument. I'm saying
he actually kept doing paper. Kept doing
he
his
was
job.
there. He was there.
Kept doing his job.
I'm saying, imagine if you put on your resume that you worked for a company.
Say I work for GE in the aerospace industry, senior level management
Yeah.
right now.
And they called up and said, we fired her years ago.
She worked for us for a couple of weeks.
And she was terrible.
She was my personal secretary.
No.
What?
She was in charge of
handling the garbage.
And the garbage was everywhere.
It was piled up.
It was strewn all over the floor. It was as if somebody took the garbage cans in the shop
and threw them all over the place.
And put them upside down and just drove around and, made a mess out of it. Oh, so we had to fire her.
Because we would see her driving around in the little go-kart with the dump on the back, and she literally driving off and everything would be falling out.
Yeah, it was a dump truck, and she had the dump up a little bit, just enough that every time she went over a bump, a whole bunch of garbage flew out of it. So she's listing that as an accomplishment.
She got fired.
It was an epic fail.
But she didn't list on there Secretary of State. She didn't list on there Senator. She didn't list on her website those things. These things.
Here, let me give Hillary.
She may have. Hold on,
Hillary some advice.
I back up. Under each one of these titles, there was a paragraph of words that would give more.
Elaborate.
Yeah, elaborate. But
you mean spin,
right? But after reading these titles, my eyes were bleeding.
Oh yeah,
and I was bleeding out from everywhere.
From wherever.
Wherever, not everywhere. Wherever.
So I would think, here's what I would say if I was her. This is a little bit, to get elected to anything takes a lot of work.
Right.
And you can fail.
Right.
If you don't fail, you accomplished it.
Right.
You accomplished it, and you should list it as an accomplishment.
Right.
I would say got elected senator of New York.
Okay. 7 reasons why the world's leaders think Hillary was one of the all-time greats as Secretary of State.
Okay.
That's word for word from her website. And Secretary of State is in lowercase.
Well, because there's a lot of secretaries of states.
All-time greats, all lowercase.
I think that
I would do it. I would do it on purpose. I would do it on purpose.
All right. When you say that there's a whole bunch of fathers in the room, that word father would be lowercase. Fathers would be lowercase.
Why didn't
if you say...
well, is Hillary supposed to be uppercase?
Well, that's the name of a person.
Well, why is it lowercase?
Hillary?
Nah. Okay, so here's the number one. Why she's the great of the world leaders think she's the great. She had a video that went along with this. It was like 9 minutes long.
Oh.
And I couldn't even watch it. My eyes were bleeding. It was hurting so bad.
Any YouTube video that's more than 4.5 minutes.
Well, it was 9 minutes.
Turning it off.
And it elaborated on all 7 bulletin points.
You mean spun?
Spun. Right.
Okay.
Oh, she had Madeline Not Also Bright.
Oh, nice one. Like it.
She had her on there. Oh, she had Deep Colin Powell.
Did you say Deep Colin Powell?
It's D.
Oh, I thought you said Deep Colin Powell. Oh, my God. Oh, we are so going to be... FCC is sending the fines right now.
His name is David Colin Powell.
FCC, the check's in the mail.
You got one from me, too, from last week.
Oh, jeez.
David Colin Powell.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is so bad.
Mr. Producer. Whew, I need some awesome sauce.
This is so bad. All right, so let's get ourselves together here, folks.
Restored America's reputation in the world.
Who did this?
Hillary. That's the number one reason why all the world leaders, including Colin Powell, Madeline Not So Bright, and all leaders around the world think that she's the greatest ever. She restored America's
reputation
in the world.
Let's just make up a sentence.
That's number one on
Let's throw a sentence out there and say, yes, that's why she's so great.
That's number one on our website. Number one.
It's gobbledygook.
She championed the rights of women and girls around the world.
Okay, who is there women out there that don't champion that stuff?
This world leaders talking about her now. World leaders.
Are we to believe that it's possible that Hillary Clinton or any other female in her position would not champion that?
Boy, you got men out there that wouldn't do it. Look at those men who aren't doing it. Men are not bragging about championing.
You know what? Her think tank is really bad that put this together.
Right.
Because it's like they're saying, well, what's something that a woman would do? And we could list as an accomplishment that probably maybe men wouldn't do. Or we couldn't list as an accomplishment for men. Throw that out there. Let's make sure that whatever we've put on there highlights the fact that she has a vagina.
Well, she's running on the fact that she has a uterus.
Is it uterus or vagina?
Uterus.
Or both?
No, uterus.
Oh, that's right, because I remember pointing out that all she did was admit that she has not had a hysterectomy.
Correct, and that she does have a uterus.
Okay, all right.
Negotiated the toughest sanctions Iran has ever faced.
We know that's the biggest disaster ever. All we did was say, I shouldn't say all. Let's go ahead and list the things. We're going to pay you billions and billions and billions and millions of dollars. We're going to lift the sanctions that kept you punished for your terroristic ways. You're the number one state sponsor of any country in the world. And number 3, we're going to go ahead and allow you completely unrestricted ability to get all the nukes you want.
By the way, folks, Iran has been testing intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Which we're not going to have.
It's not allowed. They weren't allowed to do that.
Well, we're not going to be able to inspect it anyway. Right. The best we can do is tell Iran, they round up their inspectors, inspect it for us real quick, and call us and tell us what the results were.
Well, and there's also in that negotiation, they were given the right to put us off. If we ask for inspections,
they don't have to even respond for
45 to 90 days.
Oh, I thought it was 24 days.
Maybe.
Okay.
Whatever it be.
I mean, 24 days is a freaking long time. It's more than 3 weeks.
Right.
3.5 weeks.
Right.
And besides those,
they get 24 days to say they're going to inspect. Oh, yeah, we're inspecting right now.
But they don't have to even say.
Report on the inspections for another 2-3 months.
Oh, my God. Okay. But besides those 3 things, what did we get for those 3 things that we're giving them?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
No, nothing.
So we gave them billions and billions of dollars. We gave them the unrestricted ability to make nukes. And we lifted the sanctions that were punishing them for being a terrorist organization. Right. We got nothing in return. And I'm telling you right now, liberals put a high value on goodwill and trust. Right. And they truly, I've never heard anybody say this is exclusive on Smith Radio. What they believe they got in return was political capital, i.e. goodwill.
Yeah.
That's what they believe. They believe by being this nice to them and by taking the mean bully tactics of the United States off of their shoulders, that now we have political capital over them and that they'll be nice to us because we did that to them.
Okay, so I'm checking this because the next one is ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. She put that back down again.
She repeated that.
Okay.
Has there been a ceasefire?
From Al-Monitor, negotiations are ongoing between Hamas
So negotiations have not happened. They're not completed.
That was April 14, 2015. June 2015, Israel and Hamas are directly and indirectly discussing the possibility of a truce. And now, August 18, 2015, Israel is not holding negotiations on ceasefire with Hamas.
So she flat out lied.
But it's certainly checking the feasibility of the matter. But they're not doing it.
So she flat out bold-faced lie. It's a bold-faced lie. Flat out. What about that sentence?
Because it's not
has
done yet.
Any...
Well, now there's one from 2015, August 17th. Hamas and Israel may be preparing to sign a long-term truce agreement. Maybe. 2015, she ain't even around. She's been gone.
Right.
So Israel and Hamas are still working at it, and she never did anything.
So what you just read there and what she's...
And that was from multiple websites. That's not one website. That's multiple sites.
So in 2 different bullet points on her website, she said the same bold-faced lie. Just flat out completely lied about that. Yes?
2008, Israel-Hamas ceasefire was an Egyptian brokered 6-month
that was a while
agreement.
Ago. Wow.
So 08, Egyptian brokered agreement. Egypt brokered agreement.
So she didn't have any part of that, and it's not even done. Hasn't been accomplished. Even whether it was her or not. Even if she did broker some sort of an agreement, it hasn't been done.
August 25th, 2015, which was today, senior Hamas leader Ahmad Zair denied that his party was involved in negotiations for long-term truce with Israel. Done. I'm done.
So for those of you in Westwood, that would be like being a dishwasher at your local restaurant, and your job at the end of the night is take out the garbage. And you're clocking out. You have the time card in your hand. You're about to clock out, and your boss runs in and says, "Hey, did you take out the garbage?" And you say, "Yes, I did."
I do every
clock
night.
out,
Yeah,
walk out. Next day, boss comes in. What the heck? He didn't take out the garbage.
The garbage is everywhere. There's
all the garbage cans are overflowing.
And there's flies and
fruit
maggots
flies.
and everything. Oh,
The
everywhere.
worst. In the dining room.
Right, everywhere.
Rats.
Dude, I thought you said you took out the trash. I did.
I put it twice on my website.
Right. It's up on my site, man. I did it.
Everybody that reads my website knows I did.
Dude, a very quick wiki search puts it in there. A quick wiki search puts it in there.
Puts what in there?
The awesome side.
Oh, wow.
No, a quick wiki search shows that it's a lie. You liar.
Oh, she's a liar.
She's a liar.
Okay.
Okay.
That's one accomplishment I can agree on.
Stood up for LGBT rights. Well, there's another one again. Repeat that. She reinvigorated America diplomacy with Asia. Okay, I got a question for you, Carrie. Hold on before you answer. Here's the question. Dun, 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 dun. Clock's ticking.
I didn't hear the question.
Where is the country of Asia located?
Wait. Repeat the question. Repeat. Wait. What was her bullet point?
Reinvigorated American diplomacy with Asia.
So who's the leader of Asia? Wait. So she had to talk to somebody. Is there like a coalition? Is there a coalition of leaders on behalf of the continent of Asia?
It's just a one-word answer, my friend. Yes or no.
Wait, you didn't answer the question.
You can phone a friend. Let's call David Powell. Call a friend. D. Powell. Call him in. Or Madeline Not So Bright.
Who do you talk to in the world, anywhere in the world, who do you talk to that represents Asia?
I don't even know if that's... Well, if you live in Europe, and you say... That dude is from Asia. Oh, that Asian dude?
Yeah.
Do you know who that would be? Muslim dude in the Middle East.
They call him Asian?
Yep.
But it's Middle East.
To them, that's Asia.
Well, that's kind of weird. Do they not talk about a geographical... Like, we look at it in geography terms. You got Asia, and you can kind of make your imaginary line, and then you have...
Right.
Like, India... a lot of people consider India in Asia.
Right. Well, they refer to that area as Asia.
And if you go any west of India, now you're in the Middle East. And we refer to that. But you're saying
they
don't
okay, maybe what you're saying is right, the Indian. I lump all the ooh, man, I almost slipped on a awesome
Oh, can of it? One of those squeeze bottles.
There's those folks, the folks out there, the friendly folks out there.
Friendly folks of...
Whether it be in India or Middle East.
Yeah.
I think you're right. What they do, they refer to the India part. Because
India,
I was watching...
eastward.
Right, I was watching on the BBC that they referred to this guy as an Asian, and he was clearly like dark-skinned, Middle Eastern, Indian...
He might have been talking about India.
And they re-explained it in the notes below that they refer to those folks as Asian as well.
I thought that India was considered part of Asia.
That's probably what it was.
Even though they don't look like your typical Chinese person.
What?
And by Chinese...
What does a Chinese person look like?
Somebody that lives in China? The ethnical, historical...
Is the eyes point up or down?
A descendant of Genghis Khan. Which we know... That is a fact. Like, 9 out of every 10 Asians are descendants of Genghis Khan.
And it's amazing how pleasant and calm and mild-mannered every single one of them are.
Are they?
Well.
That is a generalization.
A nice one. I'm being nice.
You're being nice, or are you referring to nice people?
Nice people.
Okay. So we've gone straight into the weeds here.
So the last one... After she fixed Asia, the last one.
Wait, she negotiated with Asia.
She fixed Asia, and then the last one she negotiated with it. No, the last one she took on the global HIV/AIDS pandemic.
I thought that was Magic Johnson. For those of you who are young or weren't paying attention.
No, that was Magic Johnson in West Hollywood.
Okay. There's something really weird about AIDS.
Running rampant.
AIDS, pre-Magic Johnson, pre-Magic Johnson, if you got AIDS, you had about maximum of 2 years to live, I think.
And you were usually 99.999% of you would be a gay man.
Okay. I could buy that.
That is the number one...
That's just a historic fact.
It's a fact. It is the number one most effective way to transfer HIV and AIDS. Transmit. Back and forth. That is the number one all-time, the best way to do it.
Is the male-gay sexual intercourse.
Correct.
Okay. So, pre-Magic Johnson, if you did contract AIDS... You had 2 years to live. And everybody knew it. Everybody knew it was a death sentence.
Well, look at Freddie Mercury.
And Eazy-E. A whole bunch of...
Oh, poor Eazy-E.
Yeah, a whole bunch of... That's good pop
and
culture
then the
reference.
second way, sharing needles and drugs. Lifestyle. So, and I'm going to tell you right now, when we were growing up, we've said this before, we all thought we were all dying of AIDS.
Or nuclear holocaust.
Right. But by the time I was 19, I'm like, man, I know I got AIDS in me.
Right.
I know I did. It's somewhere in me. It just hadn't showed up yet.
Right. And
I know I got it.
There's like this incubation period.
Right.
Like you would get it, and for like a year would go by after transmitting it to everybody else, and then you would start to get symptoms.
It's like,
and then within 2 years after you started getting symptoms, sometimes a lot sooner, you were definitely dead.
And the
not survivable.
And the symptoms were similar to a cold. To the flu. To the flu. So all of a sudden, every year, I get the flu and be like, oh man,
no,
it's
you
coming.
got it. You got
I got it.
it.
Not again. Hold on, folks. I'm not saying whoa.
Everybody, all you ladies out there.
This is the ladies, man.
Oh.
No, back in the day, we were told you could get it anyway. You could get it from kissing.
A whole bunch of people were claiming that they got it from sitting on a public toilet.
And people would spit on cops saying, I got AIDS.
Oh, that's not good.
Yes.
Wow.
It was craziness. Cops like, I got it in my eye. I got AIDS.
I think I kind of remember that.
Oh, it was nuts, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. But then
like you didn't want to hold. It was like leprosy. You didn't hold them. You didn't touch them. You didn't look at them.
Wanted to do it. You know, if you saw any liquids that would come from a human being,
right? Snot, spit.
Oh, everybody run away. Yeah.
Right.
So all of a sudden Magic Johnson gets it, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to lose Magic Johnson in less than 2 years."
When he had HIV, but
like
wasn't
2 decades ago.
He had the HIV virus, but it wasn't full-blown AIDS.
You ready for the tinfoil version of this?
Well, hold on. How did Magic Johnson get it?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there was some deep colon action going on.
David
some
Copper-
awesome sauce. And
David Copperfield.
David Copperfield? Oh!
He was playing with magic.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Playing with too much magic.
Jeez.
That was the joke back in the day.
Did he die of AIDS?
No, he's clean.
What?
No, but the whole joke is David Copperfield was a magician.
Right.
And Magic Johnson went by Magic.
Okay.
So you cross the two. To explain a joke on the air might be funny. Maybe not.
So call in and let us know if you laughed.
Right. So Magic Johnson did come out and say, he said, "Oh, I'm not gay." But he did inform everyone that he had probably more sex than all of the band, the entire band of Kiss.
Okay.
Times 2.
All right.
Which is physically impossible.
So
he was getting up to Bill Clinton levels.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing. So he makes this announcement. We're all like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to lose Magic Johnson. This is a tragedy, a national tragedy." Well, tinfoil hat time.
The government stepped in.
No, the government was the one killing everybody.
Oh!
But they didn't want to kill Magic Johnson.
They said, "No, not this one. We can't do this.
We're going to have to act like we came up with some sort of a cure, maybe."
Oh, wow.
Nobody dies of AIDS anymore.
Right. No.
Magic Johnson comes along, and they're like, whoa, we can't kill Magic Johnson.
Okay, well, let me
Did
tell
I
you.
go tinfoil hat on
You
you?
did, because let me tell you this. Out in California, West Hollywood, in Hollywood, Long Beach, predominantly. Well, Long Beach, the city of Long Beach, they have a harbor that is one of the largest harbors on the West Coast. Long Beach Harbor, L.A. Harbor. The harbor is called the Long Beach Harbor. The predominant gay community took over the entire city, renovated the city. City's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Real pastel colors, just gorgeous.
Gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
Was it, was it fabulous?
It was fabulous.
Okay.
They created a roller coaster over one of the main roads that led to the beach, but it was fake. They were just lights that ran the roller coaster. It was just lights. It looked pretty. It's insane.
All right.
Giant Ferris wheels everywhere. Changed the name of the harbor. It's now referred to as the Rainbow Harbor.
Okay. Is it because of the
gay community?
Biblical?
No, completely gay community, which I got no problem with it. So I'm just trying to let you know it's a very large gay community. If you ever went into a bar or to a restaurant and you went in the men's restroom, the men's stand-up urinal, there's usually a sign or advertisement right in front of your face that you would read while you're going to the bathroom. And it's very effective because guys just kind of look around. Don't look to your left. Don't look to the right. Just look straight ahead. Don't look around. And having an article, a newspaper article, clipping something to read while you're standing there is perfect. Advertisements in West Hollywood, Long Beach, L.A., predominant gay bar areas, all the men's bathrooms, HIV advertisements, get your testing, HIV, protect yourself, everything HIV. All that's in all the bathrooms. So I asked my wife. I said, "Hey, you girls, you in the women's bathroom, you got signs?" She's like, What signs? So I went in the bathroom, I took a picture of the sign, I come out and said, "This sign. Do you have signs like this in any of your bathrooms?" She's like, "No, never, nowhere."
Interesting.
I'm just telling you, folks, there's a correlation here. And it has to do with the gay community living the lifestyle of gay male lifestyle. Now, Magic Johnson may have been with a woman in that manner who had been with another man, bisexual, whatever, in that manner. So when you're moving in that lifestyle, in those manners, it's going to happen. So what I'm saying, stay away from that and it won't happen. But people do die of AIDS today.
Oh, really?
It's long, drawn out. I knew one guy who was probably maybe diagnosed and it went on for years and years and years, maybe 6 or 7 years. Somebody lived a long time. However, The doctors told him, you've got to change your lifestyle now.
Oh, and he didn't.
Not even close.
Oh. Well, that's...
waking up, drinking Bloody Marys.
Whoa.
Drinking in the afternoon, drinking in the evening, disability checks. I mean, it's just... And then living that same sexual lifestyle. Men in that community knew so-and-so had HIV, but still would have sex with her.
That's messed up.
They would still do it.
That's just stupid.
Or do other things, but not that. But still do other things.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
So my whole point to all this, HIV, AIDS, it's a lifestyle. Don't do the lifestyle, you won't get it.
All right. I just know that these days you hear about people dying of heroin and leukemia way more than...
You don't.
You don't hear about people...
When was the last time you saw an AIDS commercial on TV?
It's not even an issue.
It's cancer.
It's cancer, leukemia, breast cancer, not heroin. A lot of people dying of heroin overdoses. And
so she cured AIDS.
That's what she's saying.
That's what she's saying. She cured it because it's
cured
not
it.
even there. So the final thing on her website says, asterisk long-term growth. It's time to push back against the forces of quarterly capitalism and boom and bust cycles on Wall Street.
So she's literally attacking capitalism.
What is quarterly capitalism?
I've never heard that in my life, but first of all, I think that anybody who hears that, I think just hears the word capitalism, and the word quarterly with regards to capitalism might have something to do with taxes or something like that, and I think that that's all she really cared about. She wanted to use a buzzword.
Oh.
Gobbledygook buzzword. That's literally what she's talking about. We don't talk gobbledygook here.
Okay,
I tried to expose it.
So I Googled quarterly cap. Instantly comes up quarterly capitalism, Hillary.
Can I just
quarterly
get a
capitalism, Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
So she's attributing to creating another word. I mean,
she literally made up a word?
Another word.
Oh, that's an accomplishment.
I hit definite. Oh,
you have to make up stuff when you.
Ooh, hold on. Here's the definition.
I gotta hear this.
Quarterly capitalism is short-term, myopic, greedy, and dysfunctional. Will Hutton. Shareholders must stop sucking companies dry at the expense of innovation, investment, and the well-being of workforce. The market has become ever greedier. I don't know.
But is there a difference between capitalism and quarterly capitalism? What does that mean?
Quarterly capitalism, a system that drives far too many CEOs. And finally, it means every player in the entire investment value chain. Oh. Long term. Oh.
Forbes writes about it.
It says it's not. Quarterly capitalism is short-term thinking versus long-term investment thinking.
Why don't we call it monthly capitalism?
Minutely.
You jumped the shark on that
Secondly.
one. Annual.
Not
quarterly capitalism, a system that drives far too many CEOs, directors, investors, and analysts to focus on short-term performance and return on investment, is on a collision course with reality. This is a Forbes article. In the risk-reward equation that fundamentally drives capitalism, the majority is heedless to the long-term risk of climate change, water scarcity, and other game-changing environmental and social threats that will also be financial game changers for the global economy. What a bunch of crap! A new research paper issued last week by London-based Generation Investment Management, Sustainable Capitalism. There's another one. Sustainable Capitalism has some alarming news.
Why don't we just use capitalism?
About just how short-sighted this quarterly capitalism has become. A group of top asset managers attending a recent Morgan Stanley-sponsored conference were asked about their investment time horizon. We are really getting into the gobbledygook here.
That's too much.
55% said that a quarter or less. Only 20% said more than a year. Another survey revealed 78% of managers would reject an NVP, which is net present value, positive project if it would lower quarterly earnings below consensus expectations. And 80% would focus on this short-term metric at the expense of building long-term shareholder value. Okay, so basically, to sum this up,
short-minded versus long-term.
Right, if you think that you could make a profit in a shorter term, which would be, let's say,
3 months.
3 months, they would do it even if that means a lower annual or long-term gain.
Right.
They would
you're going to lose out for the whole year, but this one quarter, we're going to make our money.
And the reason they do it is because they're afraid that if their quarterly is less than their competitors, that their customers would run off to their competitors, even though they would have earned more over the course of the year for their customers.
Whatever. Let them do whatever they want to do.
And the reason Brian says whatever,
Free capitalism.
I'm reading his mind right now. Capitalism is all about Main Street. They're talking about Wall Street stuff. Let them do what they do. Who cares if an investor is going to go and make a dumb decision because it makes them a couple more bucks in a quarterly fashion? Who cares? Capitalism is what happens on Main Street.
Right.
Which is the businesses trying to compete with each other to make better products for consumers to buy for less money. That's all it is.
Right. By the way, the producer just shot me an email that was unsolicited.
Okay.
It was the CIA director, John Brennan, whose emails were swiped and stolen.
Oh, by a 13-year-old?
From the 13-year-old.
For
14 and 4 months.
3 quarters.
14 and 14 months.
Oh, 14 months. He was almost 15.
14 months. He was 15 and 2 months.
Man, my math has just gone out the window.
Yikes.
So in other news.
Yes.
You don't have anything in the stack here about the Speaker of the House situation.
I know. I'm looking at him right now. Supermajority of House Freedom Caucus to back Paul. I am a closet communist.
You went all the way.
Ryan.
Okay. So here's the situation on the Speaker of the House.
I did have stuff on him. It's not in there?
I didn't. If you did, it's cloaked in secrecy.
It's under Obama, I think.
Okay.
So look for the title Obama,
All
and then
right.
you should find Paul Ryan.
All right. So Boehner came out several weeks ago and said, I had enough of this. No mas. And he did slur, because he always slurs.
Dude, it's like he drinks all day long.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever seen him sober. So Boehner says no mas, so that just causes this frenzy in the House. Who's going to be the new speaker? And of course, for those of you in Westwood, there's something called the Freedom Caucus. And the Freedom Caucus is a group of congressmen who are, I would call them Tea Party people. Libertarians or far-right conservatives that are, or people that are just trying to restore the Constitution, restore the process of America that was founded by our founders and all that we've gotten so far away from. And it's actually a pretty big group of congressmen. I don't know the exact number, and actually some people claim that nobody knows the number. But that's the Freedom Caucus. And basically, I don't know if Kevin McCarthy was part of the Freedom Caucus. I assume maybe not. But it seemed like the Freedom Caucus was kind of like, well, I guess we could take Kevin McCarthy, until he came out and said those boneheaded things about the Benghazi hearing, which caused everybody to it almost ruined the Benghazi committee. It caused Trey Gowdy, who's a good friend of McCarthy's, to say, what an idiot! Right?
Right.
And it ended up causing Kevin McCarthy to bow out of the race for the new Speaker of the House, which then caused a big frenzy of who now can we get to become the new Speaker of the House. And I've been pushing this on Twitter. I think Jim Jordan would be the most awesome Speaker of the House, but he's kind of less experienced, less, I don't know, he's just not really high rank among those individuals in Congress. So I think he kind of gets left off the radar a lot.
Jim Jordan was on with Chris Wallace this morning.
Oh, he's
Sunday Fox News.
I'm glad that he's getting more exposure because he's part of the Freedom Caucus, and he is like the Trey Gowdy of Congress that's just like, I don't know, man. He's like this Tea Party guy that's just awesome. If you don't know about Jim Jordan, you need to learn about him because he's freaking awesome.
Well, I'm kind of losing a little faith in him, but Chris Wallace asked him, you were going to demand all kinds of assurances from Ryan about changing House rules, almost none of what you got. So I guess the question is, why are you supporting Paul Ryan?
I hope he just said, you know what, I don't.
Jim Jordan said, we do have a commitment from Paul to work on changing the rules, and we may get some of those changes before the vote is coming Wednesday and Thursday. Jordan said, so we think this is a good step.
So they got with Ryan, the Freedom Caucus did, behind closed doors. Of course, this would all be completely secret, and only whatever you hear in these interviews with like Jim Jordan would be kind of an insight into what they said, because none of it would be recorded or televised or anything like that. But Jim is saying that they said this. They made some demands to Paul. Paul made some demands to them, and they came up with a consensus.
Why wouldn't Jim Jordan run for speaker? Why don't these guys?
I demanded. I actually wrote a letter to Congressman Shabbat, who's my representative, and said, will you push for Jim Jordan, please? The problem with Shabbat is I think he's a little, he's like a little bit on the rhino side. He's not a total rhino, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy, but he's not a Jim Jordan type.
Well, I'm losing faith in this caucus because Representative Mark Meadows, RNC, another member of the House Freedom Caucus, told Maria Bartomo that there is great respect amongst his colleagues for both Ryan and Daniel, who's also running for Speaker of the House. It said, it's not as much about the person as it is the process. We want to make sure that D.C. works for millions of American citizens who believe we don't know how to govern.
First of all, they don't govern. They just make laws.
That's what he just said. It certainly looks like we'll have a Speaker Ryan, Meadows continued.
Why do you use the word govern? That just irritates me.
Yeah,
because words
Mark Meadows, Republican,
the executive branch governs.
No, he just claimed he governs.
What is he talking about?
He said the Speaker of the House governs.
Every state has a governor, and that's the head of the executive branch of each state. The head of the executive branch in the nation is the president, so he would be considered the governor of the whole country, right?
Right.
There's no part of governing in the legislative branch. I don't know what he's talking about. Why use these words?
Maybe I should send him an email.
Yes.
Tell him he doesn't
do that.
Say the Speaker of the House doesn't govern.
Oh, well, he may govern the House, but he's not governing
millions of American citizens who believe that we don't know how to govern.
Maybe he's referring... Okay, let's give him a pass. Let's assume what he means by governing the House. The Speaker of the House would govern the House.
We want to make sure that Washington, D.C. works for the millions of Americans who believe that we don't know how to govern. Oh, so it's the Americans who are wrong. American citizens believe they don't know how to govern, and he's saying, no, we just want to make sure it works. We know you think we govern, but we're just making it work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what they mean by work,
I'm
though.
Stretching that one.
We're giving a lot of benefit of the doubt.
So for those of you who are older, you remember Silly Putty?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I just did.
Something called a newspaper.
Right?
You could put it on there and get a copy of it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Oh, actually, it's a reverse mirror copy.
Oh,
but anyway.
Man, you are blowing people's minds.
Okay, so finally, Kevin McCarthy's out. Then everybody's like, who's going to go? Who's going to go? Finally, Paul Ryan said, I really don't want it. And everybody, the reason Paul Ryan was drug into this is because the Tea Party people are like, well, Paul Ryan isn't that bad. They remember when he ran for VP under Mitt Romney. Now, a lot of people don't remember this, but when Mitt Romney became the nominee, the Tea Party people were mad because they wanted a more conservative, more Tea Party, and they thought Mitt Romney was too establishment, too vanilla.
And Ryan was his counterpart.
When they picked Ryan, at first everybody's like, who the heck is Ryan? Well, they said, oh, no, he's the conservative guy. So he was the conservative side of what would be considered a moderate ticket.
Which was a lie.
Well, we didn't know that at the time.
Right.
And when he came out to speak, which we went to go watch his stump speech, we came and saw it personally, we were pretty impressed because it was all a bunch of Tea Party talking points. And we were like, this is great. He is the conservative. But since then, if you look at everything that Paul Ryan's done since then, particularly with immigration, he is a complete open borders amnesty person. Paul Ryan is.
Right.
The Tea Party has completely fallen out of favor with him. Simple as that. So all of a sudden, everybody's pushing for Paul Ryan, including the Freedom Caucus is like, we'll take Paul Ryan, whatever. The whole country, all of their constituents were like, no, not Paul Ryan. No, he is for open borders. Why do you think everybody is rallying around Donald Trump?
Okay, read that part that I asterisked.
White House praises Paul Ryan for working with Obama on trade and immigration. Mainly we're worried about immigration.
Well, if you get into that TPP, the trade thing, it's a nightmare.
Okay, so Eric Schultz said that Paul Ryan has given considerable thought to the significant issues in Congress, which, of course, we must be talking about immigration. Flat out, what Paul Ryan wants, and this is what people listening to us want to find out, what are the facts here? What do we need to know? What you need to know about Paul Ryan is that if he were to get his way, that we are not going to stop what has become immigration in America, which is the flooding of our borders with immigrants, illegal immigrants, totally illegal. And also, any of them that get here, if they have a child, that child will be, by what he would consider 14th Amendment, a U.S. citizen. And he believes that if you are here illegally and that we can't send you back because it would be cruel and unusual and unjust and whatever, let's just go ahead and make you a citizen.
Right.
He believes that. And we're so done with this. We are so done with the loss of the sovereignty of the United States due to anybody from anywhere in the world just waltzing right in and saying, I want to be here. And just by me wanting to be here gives me the right to be here. And since we're so... Donald Trump comes along and says we're going to send everybody back and he's the most popular candidate. And so what does that tell you? We're done with it.
Yeah.
And so it's become such an important issue that single issue alone, pardon the pun, trumps all the rest of the issues. So it doesn't matter that the Freedom Caucus, this is what the Freedom Caucus has said. This was on interviews this week. If you were listening to Glenn Beck, he interviewed somebody from the Freedom Caucus. They're all saying the same thing. They're saying, look, we understand immigration is an issue that we don't agree with Paul Ryan on. But we agree with 99% of every single thing else. We agree with everything else except for immigration. And for that reason, we're going to go ahead and compromise by supporting him.
Right.
And here's the problem. It's a Trump issue, and I'm not talking about Donald Trump. It's a Trump card. No, everybody's done with immigration. They're done with the way it's been going. They want everybody to go home. And that's why they support Donald Trump. And for them to think that it's okay that Paul Ryan is cool with immigration, it's okay to support Paul Ryan because even though they don't agree with his immigration policies, since they agree with everything else, let's go ahead and support him. It's not going to fly.
No.
It's not going to fly with the American public, and you see that in the support of Donald Trump.
All right, we got 6 minutes left. Ben Howe on Twitter tweeted this week, I figured out Biden dropped out in conjunction with Obama saying he could win a third term because that's in the plan.
That's interesting. I would have never we've always talked here on Smith Radio about how he does want to become the lifelong premier of the United States and possibly the world. And so these things that he's doing to set up to take over the America by abolishing the presidency makes sense. I would think that if he becomes the permanent premier of the United States, that Joe Biden would be the permanent VP and second in line for premiership. Right?
No, absolutely.
So that would make sense why he would say, I'm going to go ahead and bow out.
Because I'll be second in line.
Forever.
Right.
Forever. Until he dies, or until Obama dies,
right,
he would be second in line for the premiership of the USSA.
So Obama's vowing to veto a $612 billion defense policy bill because they won't shut down Gitmo. And it makes it harder. He said... told a reporting Obama wants higher spending for both domestic and foreign, but also the president mentions that he was upset that the bill would make it harder for him to close the terrorist detention facility at Gitmo.
Oh my God!
All right,
Clinton and Sanders, they're starting to they're both running for the DNC side of the ticket.
Oh, there's only two now. Everybody else in the DNC is dropping out.
Okay, well, that doesn't surprise me, and I'm wondering why the RNC isn't doing the same.
Breaking news Sunday, Bush may drop out tomorrow.
Oh, wow, that's big. We're breaking
that's what they said Monday.
Right? Or there's somebody breaking it. All right, so basically Clinton and Bernie Sanders are trying to draw distinctions between each other. Clinton said, I hear Donald Trump when he says we have to make America great again. America is great. We just have to make it fair and just.
What?
Well, it's just communist mumbo jumbo. Basically,
right.
Barack
Obama supports Black Lives Movement.
Matters.
Black Lives Matters movement.
Okay.
He supports them. He said, that's it. That's the ticket. We got to support them. And they have been labeled as a terrorist organization.
Oh, have they?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, who would do that?
I did it.
Oh, I was going to say, what government entity at this point under the Obama administration would call Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization?
Well, when I see, oh my Lord, I got chuckled and beeped.
Wow.
So yeah, that's just a nightmare.
Wow.
And everybody's really upset about that. Donald Trump gave Fox News a 6-year high when he showed up. He said, "quote I'm the reason why Joe Biden won't run."
Oh, that's a good one. hey, never let a crisis go to waste.
Well, there you go. Proving that he's still a major figure in a GOP race, for president, Donald Trump handed host Chris Wallace his highest ratings in 6 years on last weekend's show, Fox News Sunday. That's when we were actually on the air. According to Deadline Hollywood, the Sunday morning politics show logged 1.6 million total viewers for Trump's visit and 471,000 in news demo viewers. Fox News Sunday saw a 23% jump over last year's ratings for the same day.
I've never seen this in my entire life of following politics, but it's very fascinating. It's something that's going to be talked about for many, many years. The relationship between Trump and the media is something I've never seen before, not on either side.
It's like a hate-love relationship. But
he
kind of puts them in line.
That's because if they can get them on, they get giant ratings.
Yeah.
No other candidate has ever been able to do that. I don't even know if Ross Perot was doing that back in the 80s or
probably
whatever.
not. No, I highly doubt it.
Oh, it was 92.
No, I highly doubt he was bringing any kind of powerhouse stuff like that at all.
Or at least he didn't. If he was, he didn't recognize it as such.
So they got this thing out from Breitbart, 20 reasons for Trump. 1, he's not your ordinary politician. He's not reliant on donors. Yes, he doesn't have that much of a filter. Bravo for him. When he talks.
What is your take on it, Brian?
He speaks for us little people. Make no mistake, there is an establishment plot against him. His business accomplishments. He's pro-women, a man of sound morals. I don't know. This wasn't me. I didn't write this.
He said as a man of sound morals. Here's the thing
I'm good for that.
He's at least not shown otherwise yet, so we'll have to see.
Policies are spot on, particularly in immigration.
Definitely.
He can bring in independence.
I can't argue with that.
Right. Naysaying is rooted in careerist, self-interest politicians. People who naysay him say, Well, those are the career politicians who want to keep their jobs.
Oh yeah, that's
For
true.
life.
That's true. Who else said this? Who said this? I mean,
Breitbart. It was
Okay.
one of their writers.
Okay.
Negotiation skills top notch.
definitely.
Blacks and Latinos love him more than any other GOP.
This is a fact. There's a lot of liberals out there who say that's a complete lie. We're not saying that more black people support Trump than a liberal. We're not saying
Right.
that.
No,
we're
we're
saying
saying-
that a higher percentage of black voters support Trump than any other Republican candidate in my lifetime. And that is a fact. Easy.
Russia's looking forward to a Trump presidency and open negotiations that lead to mutual end of ISIS and other establishment atrocities.
Oh, we almost ran out of time.
Under the bell. Oh, folks.
Nice flurry at the
What?
end there.
Yeah, no kidding. What an incredible show. Stay tuned to us. Follow us on Facebook.com/Smith Radio.
We need another 3
We need another 3 hours. And
Yeah.
you will get it. We are all over the place for you folks. Share us with your friends, your family, your colleagues, people that hate you.
See you in 6 days and 21 hours.
Good night now.
With unfathomable power. What kind of power? Unfathomable. It's without fathom.